Somewhere unknown to us, a small family living in isolation from the rest of the world without being governed by any self-proclaimed king, are now forced to leave their family home after their parents' death, as the young siblings are now refugees. But as the only thing they know about the outside world comes from stories, myths and legends about trolls and witches, they now travel with great uncertainty. Welcome to Wildhjarta, a dark fantasy role-playing adventure with a focus on mystery and terror. Don't turn your eyes or ears away from the story, because everything you see and hear is all real, and it can all be interacted with. But if you didn't notice it and you walked past it, you missed the clue. Those are the only rules I will tell you, as I, your storyteller, are gonna be lurking in the shadows. But do remember and take heed on the fact that all actions matters, as everything will be noted down on your character sheet for your character's development. And I will sit here and let you guess as you work your way forward, as this world works in mysterious ways. Are you going to solve Wildhjarta's riddle, or are your souls gonna be trapped forever? We can only wish the young siblings good luck, as their story now begins when they arrive at the small nearest village. It is night, and all the houses are laying sleepingly dark, except for one, the green oak guest house that is filled with songs and light. As you open the door, your journey now begins. With me today, I have 3 victims, players. You are 3 siblings. And we know very little about you. And we know very little about why you left and where you're heading. But we do know that you're refugees. Olof, why did you guys abandon your family home and travel the world?
Well, our parents were pretty much... they weren't very likely to move by their own. So, me as the youngest sibling has been aching to get away for quite some time. And now, when this possibility happened, I was the first one to suggest that we move away and leave it all behind us.
Okay.
Since the world is a large space with a lot of possibility, and the old family farm isn't really anything I keep close to my heart.
So you're the youngest sibling, and you wanted basically adventure, and you wanted to leave, and you were from a farm, you say, kinda?
Yeah, in a way, not the big organized thing, but more of a homestead with some animals, some growing, some woodworks.
What sort of animals were on your farm?
Oh, I don't know. I don't care about animals. It was,
You
I
didn't.
suppose, a cow, a goat, perhaps. I was always just lazing around trying to avoid them.
You were quite lazy.
I was the youngest. They didn't really need me, and I was focusing on the more creative. I was a dreamer, wanted to get away.
How old are you, Olof? You're the youngest.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna pitch down my voice a bit. I'm 15.
15. And what's your name, by the way?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I suspect we're going for the...
You can think for it for a while. William, why did you agree to follow, like all of you, the 3 of you basically much joined together when you left, because you wanted to... Did you share the same dream of leaving as your younger brother did? He was basically a daydreamer at a young age, and he stayed like that.
I was always interested in the vast turnings of the world. I was not always, as the eldest of the 3, I was not one to follow in my parents' footsteps. I always knew that there were some great turnings outside of our little homestead that I wanted to explore. I grew up as the oldest. Before I had any siblings, I had a dog, a canine named Karn. He was my best friend, but has since passed away. And with my brothers leaving the farm, there was nothing left there for me. I always wanted to explore the world, and that's what I did. When my youngest brother elected to leave, there was nothing left there for me to stay for. Therefore, I left to see the world, confirm my suspicions, and explore everything outside.
Interesting.
I suppose that leaves Stefan to be the boring guy.
The boring guy. William, your brother were quite lazy on the farm. He didn't really pull his weight. What did you do during the days?
As the oldest, the expectation of me to work and take lead was always there. But while I performed the work, and I always had an interest for the things around me. How does, why do things grow? Why does the animal stay with us when they could simply leave? I always asked the big questions. So I worked hard because that was my job. But I always wondered about why more than the what.
I see. You seem like a thinker, actually. Someone that's curious about the world.
I am, but there was not much to learn on the farm. Our parents weren't educated. They worked in a farm, in a homestead. The greatest thing our father ever did was lose a job in a mine.
Oh, so your family, you live on a farm, but your father had to work at a mine.
I was too young when he stopped working there. He spent the rest of his days at the farmstead. Never had the opportunity to learn much. I always wished to learn more.
But you are capable of reading. How is that?
Yes.
How did you acquire this talent?
So, in our farmstead, there was a small hamlet nearby where we traveled in for merchants and to buy food and whatnot that we couldn't supply ourselves. And once there, I found a great opportunity to learn how to read in a local church. And then I read everything I could get my hand on, even if it wasn't much.
What is your name, William, by the way? You're the oldest.
My name is Ace. Yes, my name is Ace. My A-C-E. A-C-E. My father believed in simple names.
Yes. Because he knew that it's gotten very hard to put them in the name tag.
He couldn't spell himself. I had to go into the church to learn how to read, so he picked words that he thought he could spell.
What have you been reading so far?
Anything and nothing I could get my hand on. We had just a few old texts, most of the Bible back at home, but whatever I could get my hands on.
Meanwhile, Olof, have you come up with a name yet?
I'm sure I had some kind of
That's okay.
boring. I'm sure I had some kind of boring farmer name, but now I am going to reinvent myself. So I am calling myself Titus, because that's something I heard people are called.
Oh, yes.
Way
So
away.
you had a childhood name, and now you call yourself something else.
Yes, I'm Titus.
Titus. Like that.
That was not. Yes, that was not what my parents named me. But
What did your parents name you, actually?
Robert.
Robert. Yeah.
And that's a boring farmer name.
It doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't have any.
No, and this hamlet that Ace was talking about, I always volunteered to come with, to get some news from outside. That's also where I heard music and picked up the stories and the songs that I love so much. And that's where I started to dream.
Ace, how old are you?
I am 23.
23. You're quite old. So the difference here is 23 and 15. We're gonna
Yes.
leave Stefan hanging for a while. And don't worry, Stefan, we're coming back to you soon. We're just gonna mold these guys a little bit more. But meanwhile, the story continues. And you venture in to a tavern that you have arrived to, where there are song, people, and food and drinks. And you've never been here before. Titus, where are you guys heading?
You said there were music playing?
Yes, there were music playing.
Then, with a smile on my face, Titus walks towards the musicians.
All right. They are fully eager
Looking.
on their instruments,
Yeah.
doing their best to please the audience.
The other brothers can see him just go away and mingling with the crowds, not have care in the world.
I kind of shake my head like, music is such a frivolous matter, but Titus was always weak for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a lot of is there any other people in the place?
Yes,
And then-
there's a lot of people. There's some people talking about various things and
huge track
and some people walking around delivering drinks to people.
Feet. No.
You estimate that there are about 50 people in the tavern.
Well, I will walk around and listen if I hear anything interesting. If not, I'm just gonna take a seat at somewhere.
Just this thing we hear right now, is it like the background noise?
Yes,
Or
it is
Yeah.
something you hear
Yes,
people
alright.
talk about in the background.
Yeah. Excuse me, I'd like some alcohol, please.
Stefan,
Yes.
you were against leaving, but you followed anyway. You're the middle child. Why were you against this new course of lifestyle, but why did you follow your brothers?
So, I mean, my brothers Titus and Ace
Yeah.
always kind of had their head up their cloud,
Yeah.
in the clouds. I mean, they have honestly no idea what's going on in the world. And I didn't really like my family or upbringing very much. I mean, of course, I kind of like Titus and Ace, but I wasn't really close with my family that much. I didn't stick around the house very much. I usually snuck out and went to the town and hang around with people there and in the small gangs that's what were there. But when Titus and Ace started talking about this thing, I could just see I mean they have no idea what's going on, and they will just go and get themselves killed. So
So-
I basically
Are you the only one that actually left the house for reals from time to time? They actually stayed around the farm while you went to other towns.
I mean I lived in the house, but I
Yeah.
didn't really stick around very much. I mean, I didn't really do any work there, or I didn't really. I had other stuff going on, basically.
All right, right. So no one really worked at a farm. Do you know? Do any of you guys know anything about farming? Actually,
I do, right? I was the oldest. I was the first one. I had to help out. That's what you did when you worked on the farm. I took care of animals. I worked the fields. I did everything I had to do, even if I didn't like it. I didn't want to do it, but it was required of me. Then when my brothers came along, they didn't help at all. It just became more mouths to feed and more work to do. So what do you think I had to do? Take responsibility.
I mean, I'd say that the most farm work I've ever done is carry a bucket somewhere, or putting
Fucking Titus.
something into a barn. I mean, I know that things grow and cattle live and has to die before you can eat them, and that's basically it. I just when I could be asked to actually perform stuff, it was very simple tasks.
Yeah.
I have no practical knowledge whatsoever.
But in the end, Stefan, you tagged along with your friends, basically your two brothers, because you knew they were pretty much gonna end up somewhere and get lost.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, just this bar. I mean, they have no idea what's going on here, and they
Yeah,
will
Titus
probably...
seems very excited about this.
Yeah, I know.
Do
Yeah.
you've been have you been extremely drunk and woken up in a ditch, Stefan? Your character.
Yes.
All right. You suddenly
Definitely.
see Titus ask for a glass of wine.
I mean, it's gonna start somewhere, so...
Okay. Yeah.
Ace, I don't notice that. Ace doesn't notice anything of that. I'm too busy listening around people. My interest was very piqued about someone who saw something very interested. I'm trying to overhear what they're saying. Meanwhile, so I'm not paying attention to Tyrus at all. Normally, I would put my foot down. I'm not okay with that, right?
Yeah. Normally.
Yeah, I don't notice though.
Stefan, what did you do? You had other things you were doing while you were venturing out to other towns and such. You didn't stay at the farm. What were you doing? What were your projects and what did you
I mean,
consume time with?
to our parents, I said basically that I was working at some, or helping some guy out and got some money and stuff like that. But in reality, I hung out with the local gang
Oh,
and did some work for them.
when you say the local gang, is this the local gang that is good guys or the local gang that is no, not the good? No,
Nope, not the nice guys.
not the nice guys. Are there people that are gonna recognize you out in the world? Have you done something to someone?
I mean, I've mostly been local. I'm not really ventured that far away from our little town or our little place. Just like some close places by, but probably not.
I see.
So just are we talking gang as in pushing over cows, or more like highway robbery?
Yeah, more highway robbery.
Okay.
All right.
Your aim was to acquire money. Is that your highway robbery plans?
Yes.
Do your brother know about this?
They understand that I mean, Titus doesn't know anything basically, and Ace understand that I don't that I don't.
Does Titus really know anything?
I mean, I know that my middlest brother is somewhat of a rogue, but I mean, that's just something you hear about in stories. I know what that robbers exists, in the same way that I know that trolls and dragons exist. It's something you hear about. It's very far from reality.
But Titus, I don't think you know exactly that he's been like. Okay, Stefan, what is the worst thing your character's ever done?
I probably haven't, or I haven't killed anyone, but I have definitely beat people up or like extorted people for money and robbed people, definitely.
So you guys, you have a bit of an inventory, and because of your engagements in other things, you have a little bit more money to walk around with. However, this money is from Stefan's pockets, and you guys currently don't know where the whereabouts of the reason why he acquired this amount of money. Or well, you could have some inclinching ideas.
Yeah, we could guess.
I just take for granted that Stefan will be paying my wine.
Yeah.
You will.
Having
Stefan.
to pay for things myself. That's
No, your parents take care of all that.
yeah.
Stefan,
Ridiculous.
what is your name?
So it's Gary.
Classic Gary.
How old are you, Gary?
I am I just turned 20.
Oh, so you're 1 year younger than Ace.
3 years.
I'm 23.
Oh, you're 23, sorry. So 2 years younger than Ace.
Yes.
Titus, you...
Yes.
For a glass of wine, 2 copper coins, please. The woman replies.
Oh, put it on my brother's tab. He's the roguish-looking fellow over there.
Oh, the guy... How would you like to describe yourself, Gary? What is your appearance?
I mean, I have like a darker cloak on me, but probably the hood turned down, and some like a leather vest or something like that, and like a darker outfit, basically.
You see a woman looking over to you. That apparently is one of the barkeepers. She is making the typical nod of "Do you understand what I mean?" holding a glass, and your brother is pointing at you. How do you...
I say like, okay, nothing more. Like cut him off after that.
But it was an approval, it sounded like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Titus, she gives you a glass of wine.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, at the same time,
Have you heard that
Ace are
hunters
looking...
in the marshland found huge track marks of a creature with enormous feet? No, I
Yeah.
haven't heard any news at all from the north.
Ace says that you're paying highly attention to all the
Yeah.
things you're hearing around you. You track down the whereabouts of the sound.
Yeah. Because my interest is instantly piqued, as I have an interest for the mysteries and science of the world. And I walk up to I assume 2 people having a conversation, and ask him, "Excuse me, what has happened up north? I'm traveling through my brothers, and I'm looking for some interesting events that has happened. Do you
Events
know
about
anything else?"
farmers being attacked by monsters. Why would you seek something like that out?
Curiosity. I'm trying to keep my younger brothers safe, and I gesture toward Titus at the bar, clearly 15, drinking alcohol. They're not doing so well after we left our farm, and I just want to make sure that they're kept safe.
Oh well, if you would actually be interested in going to that place, the place that was attacked is very close to Grey Harbor, but I wouldn't understand why anyone would want to go there. People are mostly leaving the place at the current moment.
Oh, knowing is a type of power. Now we know where to avoid if we don't want to go there, right? I was just curious, so that's all. Have a nice evening.
Well, if you're interested in going there, and it's in the direction to the north, you just follow Pike Hyde Road, and you try to steer on your right course, and there should be some marking ways for you to get there. But
Okay, thank you very much. I kind of start to go back to my 2 brothers, and I just like scowl at Titus drinking wine, and then I scowl at Jerry for giving him the wine. From my understanding, we didn't really got in. Titus, we didn't really say anything about where we're actually going, where we're headed. So I assume we either have no plan as of right now.
I mean,
We just left our
the
farm and then we
road
ended
has
up here.
to lead somewhere.
Exactly. The road always leads somewhere, right?
Gary, what's your big dream for your future? Like, do you have any, or are you just trying to survive? Or no,
I mean, money, basically.
money.
I live day to
Money
day, try-
is money solving all of your problems, basically? If you have money, you have
Yeah.
no worries in the yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
I mean, I am actively looking for, like, in the bar, like, rich people that I can maybe pickpocket or, like, scam or something like that.
You see a lot of very drunk people, so there's always someone's gonna stumble around in the darkness, drunk, tonight. You know the drill.
Yeah.
But all right, so carry on. Ace brought some information.
Yeah. So, hey guys, I heard of some some dramatic events happening down at Great Harbor Way. Maybe that's maybe we should check it out, Gary. You know, in times of panic and chaos, there's always work and shelter among farmers, especially if we can blend in.
Work and shelter. I mean, I don't really want to work like that. Why should we go there?
I mean, how much money do you have in your purse right now? It's
A bit.
food for a few days. I go picking,
Yeah.
right?
So, you don't know much about the world currently, but for example, for 2 copper coins, you could buy
A glass of wine.
glass of wine. That, and for like 5 copper coins, you could stay the night. All the 3 of you. So,
So
wine
we're
is
broke.
wine is kind of expensive, but
Okay, we're broke.
kind of.
Yeah.
I'm saying, in times of panic, people tend to be perhaps spoilable. I'm clearly trying to entice Gary to want to go, because I know that if I can convince Gary to go, then Titus will just follow. So, and I'm very interested because of the mysterious events.
Yeah, I mean,
people
that's true, Ace. I
panic
mean,
people, you know, people live in their houses. I just like to have somewhere to live. That's not my area of expertise, but I just like to have somewhere, you know, not in the cold sleeping tonight or tomorrow.
So how long have we been on the road? Have we been sleeping outside? What kind of weather is it?
It is currently, you can sleep outside. You have some tent, you have some gear with you for that. You have deer pelts, so that will keep you warm. But without the deer pelts, it could be quite cold.
So cold but manageable. So it's safe to assume we probably slept outside like at least once. I really would not like to spend another day out in the cold. If we'd head somewhere with dramatic events, there's always people, panic people, easy prey.
yeah, that's true. How far
What are
away
you
did
guys talking about? I'm not following along.
Titus, we're
Are we
trying
going
to
to Grey
find
Harbor?
somewhere to sleep.
Where's Grey Harbor?
I-
What is Grey Harbor?
Mons, do I know where Grey Harbor is?
No, you don't. In the north,
well,
there's trails
yeah.
and there's road marks, but
Here we are.
more than that, you're quite lost.
Titus,
Harbor.
everyone
It
knows.
implies ships
Everyone
and
knows that
trade.
Everyone knows that Grey Harbor is up north by simply following Pike High Road. Like it's. Have you picked up a book in your
Yeah,
life?
but how long? Can we go by boat? Can we travel?
No, we'll just travel by
Can
the
we see the
roads up
southern
north.
seas?
The harbor is on land.
Yes, but it's
Not
by
in the
water,
ocean.
right? That's what harbor means, right? You're the learned one.
There are waters up north. Have you ever heard about the northern seas?
Yeah.
We could simply travel up and find somewhere to live. We have no other place to go. We might as well go somewhere where perhaps our dear brother can secure us somewhere to live for a few days while we figure out where to go.
Ace, do
Yeah.
you know? Wait, Ace, how much do you know? What is the worst thing that you know that your brother have done?
So I'm fair. Like I have a fairly good, somewhat fair grasp of the world, even if can be somewhat naive. So I know that he has done some pretty bad stuff. Perhaps not the worst. Like I assume that he maybe have gotten like violent, but not beat someone, like assaulted someone, right?
Oh, he's never assaulted someone, right?
But I'm more about like I understand that he didn't thief because I've seen that he shows up. Like we go into the hamlet and he suddenly has like 10 times the more money I have, and like I can connect the dots. Like I'm a learned person. However, I don't know that that he decked someone to get that money. I thought he just like snatched someone's purse. So
yeah, or maybe he worked somewhere for.
yeah,
someone.
yeah. I know that he could be conning people, but I don't think that he's ever gotten violent.
Yeah, Titus.
I mean,
Is
there
your-
you are extremely naive you as well.
yeah. I mean, like I am pretty. Gary's
I mean,
area of
this is the fantasy
expertise
dark
is-
ages.
Yeah.
Titus,
But I mean,
what is the
Yeah.
your older brothers? Are they good guys, all of them?
I mean, good, bad. I mean, that's just a matter of perspective. There are a lot of persons in stories that are perhaps bad but still have hearts of gold. And I mean, Gary has a heart of gold, I'm sure. Ace is just boring. He's more of a side character, the way I see it.
All right.
Like I'm the obvious main character of this story, and Gary is my
Obvious.
like he's the well
Bodyguard?
he's the one I'm counting on. Yeah, the bodyguard. No, more like I'm trying to drop references that
mentor?
still. No, I mean he's more of my Aragorn to my
Yeah,
pro.
yeah.
So like he's dependable and a bit scruff looking, but yeah, he'll manage through to in the end.
Yep.
Ace.
So older
yeah.
brothers are 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know the exact how to get to Grey Harbor, but you have a feeling of how to basically kind of get there.
Yeah. I just want to convince Titus to go because like he doesn't. If I pretend that I know, he's gonna go. So
Yeah.
he's just like, okay, whatever. He's just gonna nag me until we go if he seems sure about it. So
Yeah.
I assume that will work.
So I wave over the barmaid.
Yeah. Hello, guys. How can I help you tonight? Anything to drink?
We were wondering, do you know where Grey Harbor is?
Oh, why do you want to go there? Haven't you heard?
No, I mean, yeah, we heard about it. There was something going on there. So, but we were wondering, like, how far is it to get there?
Oh, it usually takes a day of travel. A very far
A day. Okay. So travel by foot then.
Yeah, foot. I don't think that the roads are that open for any wheel or carriages or things like that. It's a very foresty, rooty road.
Okay.
And you don't see any horses around either, by the way.
And would we expect to meet anyone there, or is it like an empty road, or how is the road?
You might
Are
expect
there people needing our help?
Oh, there are definitely people probably needing your help. They're evacuating. There's a lot of people coming here because they've seen track marks of monsters. Not around Grey Harbor, but close to Grey Harbor, in farmer fields around the area.
Do you know anything else about the things that's been happening up north?
No.
We have you have to say we have family up there, and we want to make sure that they're okay.
Oh, if you have family there, that's so sad to hear. I hope they're all fine. But no, I don't know much. I know what you know about from what the people are talking about it coming here, saying things. It is currently quite late.
I was like, okay, thank you. So, a day's travel. Hopefully our aunt and uncles will be okay. We have 2 sets up there. It's really terrible. We've been hearing. And I kind of like let her like gesture like that we're done. To kind of turn to my brothers. It's like,
Yeah, she walks away.
It's getting like I look at Gary. It's like it's getting late, and we would need some room and board if we don't want to travel during the night. And I kind of like beat it around the subject, like that's kind of your area.
Oh, please, can we sleep in beds tonight? I'm so tired of camping outside.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. It's fine. Have we eaten, by the way?
Yeah, you eat enough. You're not hungry anymore, and you have currently 5 days of food, and this is calculated for all of you. I have a question for you, Ace.
Okay.
What is the most precious thing in life for you? What do you hold dearest to your heart?
I mean, it was my dog, Karn, until he passed away just before after Titus was born. He was my OG brother, but now, it is I care deeply about my brothers. But for me personally, like apart from my family being important and whatnot, I own one book. I own one book, that I carry with me. That's like it's a book with text in it, but I also have taken like my own notes into it because I don't own paper other than, and I like to take notes. So other than that, I don't own. I have nothing really. I cherish knowledge. I dream of one day studying at a real university.
You have a notebook, you say?
Yeah. So it's like I put all my thoughts down. I think they're very clever, but I don't have formal education, and I dream of one day getting formal education. I think that will solve all my issues in life, even though they might not.
Yeah. Gary, what is your most precious? What do you hold dearest to your heart? Is it an item like A's book, or is there something else? Or I mean, I was gonna say money here.
Yeah.
Money. Okay. Yeah, money.
It's very convenient to have Gary in your family. I'm
And
broke again.
Titus, is the bamboo flute the most precious thing that you have in your life, or is there something else that is more precious to you in your life?
Well, I mean, I like the flute. It's my favorite thing. I got it as a gift actually from a traveler when we were visiting for some merchanting a while ago. I am learning to play. I'm thinking I'm getting quite good, and when I listen to the band here, I see it like, all right, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. Do you want to join in with them with your flute?
No, I might. Depends on where the night takes us. I want to make sure I can dazzle them properly. But I'm also like, in contrast to my brothers, I'm actually wearing quite nice clothing. I have like kind of a nice blue doublet that's actually part of my mother's favorite, finest dress. But as she turned sick, she didn't use it anymore, so I kind of cut it up and sew clothing on it, and I'm really proud of that. I think I'm looking quite dapper, and I mean, that's something I'm very proud of because that's something I did. So I mean,
Your
I don't know really. I mean, I like a lot of things. What's most in my heart? I mean, then that would be like hope.
sorry?
Hope.
Hope. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the belief that the world is more or less a good place and this is gonna end up well.
Yeah.
But also the flute. I also like my
Also
flute.
There's
It's
a
not
lot
about
of
flute, it's the gift of music.
there's a lot of things here. You sound like a quite happy person in general. With
Yeah,
a lot of
I am.
Yeah.
I've never really had any hardship until mother fell ill.
Titus.
And, I mean,
is the world a good place or a dark place?
I mean, I'm sure it can be both. But since I'm a good person, the world tends to be good back. Because that's just how things are. Same way that Gary is grumpy and always get grumpy back. And Ace is stuck up and always get stuck.
Obviously. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
The karma.
So I smile a lot and good things
People
have
smile
happened.
back.
God.
Yeah.
Goddamn Titus every time.
All right.
If I leave work alone, then work leaves me alone.
Ah, genius.
Does
Genius.
nothing. In our entire childhood, he has done nothing. He hides in barns and plays that godforsaken flute.
Yeah,
like
I mean, you
Titus,
would expect
you know?
that you would expect that he at least could earn some money from playing that damn flute, but I mean, come on.
I mean, you haven't seen me try.
Titus, go.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't
Maybe
done
that's
anything.
maybe exactly. But that's a goddamn point. We haven't seen you try.
So does the band get coins thrown at them? Are they appreciated? Like
Yes,
or is it like
you notice that this band are acquiring money tonight by just sitting there and playing music.
I suggest maybe, how late is it? Is it like midnight or is it like?
It's starting to get late.
Okay. In that case,
you don't have a clock knowledge.
Yeah. But like, maybe I can make a guess. Okay, but late. It's dark.
Yeah, it's usually when Titus should go to bed.
And yeah, fair enough. That's like. So it's okay. So it's like 6 or
it's not late enough
5 or 6 in the evening.
It's not late enough for Gary to usually come home.
Okay, then I know roughly. But in that case, perhaps Titus should make a throw at his music. Gary can do his thing, and I will go fetch us a room, and we will continue our journey in the morrow.
A room for the three of you demands 2 copper coins.
Okay, slam it.
Boom.
I will go to the barkeep and I will ask for that. And then I will head to the room while Gary and Titus does their thing for the night.
I'll pick
And I
up
sit
my
down
flute
with my
and just,
notebook.
I'll just fall in with the band, and if they don't like beat the shit out of me for intruding on their playing, then I will attempt to join them and get us some.
How about hearing that
coins.
flute then?
Well,
You have it with you, I believe.
but I most certainly told you that Titus has practice. He's good.
Okay.
I, on the other hand, cannot make it carry a tune whatsoever.
Titus stands around and does his thing. And they're not making you like quiet, but they are like, okay, stand over here. So in the corner. Yeah, that's okay. Good. You're
They
doing
don't
back.
appreciate my art.
They didn't throw you out.
They didn't throw you out, but you're able to keep pace with them. After the night, they ask, "What's your name, boy? What you got there?"
Oh, yeah. You're asking me? Yeah, I'm
Yes.
Titus. And this is a flute made from something called bamboo. I got it from a trader who has gotten it from another trader, and it's from the other side of the world. I have
South.
actually no idea from where. Yeah,
South.
Sorry?
South. Very far south.
Yeah. That's exactly not north. And
Is
so
it
yeah,
southerner? It's a southerner?
I mean, the flute is, I suppose, a southerner. I don't know if you usually.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Talk about-
The things that's coming from south, they're no good.
I walk up to
Hate that.
that guy.
Yep.
I say like, sorry, is there a problem here?
No.
Yeah, he said my flute is bad.
Yeah. We don't like
Not
things coming
bad.
from the south. The south just brings
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, but so is this
Gary.
the guy
Well,
that
you're a
was playing?
meanie.
Gary, you know that there is currently a war going on. Far more down south, but then even further more down south, there are southerners invading some area. And it's been going on for a while.
So is this the musician that was playing together with Titus?
Yes. Yeah.
So are you gonna pay the boy that helped you perform?
Why? No.
What do you think? I mean,
What do you
you
mean?
earned money, and of course he was helping you, so you earned more money. So of course you're gonna pay him.
We were training him. We were training him.
No, you
Got
weren't.
to learn. Of course.
No. That's not how it works.
What do you mean? We didn't ask him to join. He just showed up and started playing with us.
He helped you out, so you earned money. So then of course
We were
it's gonna-
making money before he arrived.
Yeah, and you were
Yeah, but
making
how
more
much
money
more
when
would you
he
have made
arrived.
without me? No.
But we didn't make any
Yeah.
more money after you came.
I saw that you got
I don't
some.
believe you.
Pay the boy.
He stands up.
You're a
and,
liar and a meanie.
He looks at your face, and you look back with your more impressive, scary face. And he pays you 1 copper coin.
Yay! The small victories. We
I say,
win.
Give it to it's Titus' money. Give it to him.
Yeah, he puts a coin in your hand, Titus.
I smile and bow, sort of graciously. From what I know, I have absolutely no idea what's actually gracious, but what I
Is there anything
comprehend as
more
gracious.
you two wanna do this night?
Oh,
No,
Alright.
I will go around obnoxiously flipping the coin and catching it because this is the first time I've ever earned money by my own.
I take it in the air from him and put it in my pocket.
Oh,
You fall asleep.
Are we sleeping for the night? Yeah.
Yeah.
yep.
Yep.
And after a long night's sleep, you all wake up in a very damp place. There's a fireplace that's not ongoing. You could turn it on if you wanted to. It's very early morning, and the sun is just starting to creep up through the windows, giving some light to your early eyes. And you go like, oh. And Titus, you don't feel so
Yeah.
good.
Oh right, I'm 15. I cannot handle drink.
You had a blast last night. Your impulses were on super pipe. I mean, you were God, but today the
That's quite
world
some wine.
is just not yours anymore.
Ace,
I was in bed. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I've been
I was-
cursed.
as
think
I was
the
in
bad
bed way
musician
earlier.
cursed me.
I was in bed earlier than my friend. I was already up when they wake up, and I look at Gary, and I just look at him with like dead eyes, like we should hit the
Can I learn
road.
somehow?
We have to talk to the priest or a wizard or something that can help this.
Titus, you may need a priest, but not for the reason you think. We should hit the road as fast as we can. We can capture night where we may, if it's a hard day travel all the way to Grey Harbor, we might not find another place to stop. And unless you want to sleep out in the woods tonight, then
Oh, not the
we
woods.
have to reach
I
it.
hate the woods.
Yeah,
You
we
can
all hate the woods. Titus, get out of bed.
Okay.
Let's go.
All
It's
right.
fine.
Yeah, and I pushed you guys to hit the road.
You start walking. It's very early morning. The sun have been pushing up a little bit more, and you didn't get off as fast as you wanted, Ace, because Titus, well, he wasn't really picking up the pace. And you currently look back, both of you, and you see him stumble a little bit from that area to area. He often actually sits down from time to time just to take a rest.
In my defense, I have been cursed.
Yep.
Let it
Yeah.
be known.
Yep.
Yeah.
The road is very open, but it starts to narrow quite more and more. And after a while, you're starting to walk like next by to a big forest. And the road is actually starting to touch into the forest a little bit more and more. Suddenly you see a road sign with two different directions that have been knocked off.
Well, I'd like to investigate the knocked off sign.
Yeah.
Do I see
it's-
anything of note?
Yeah, you see Grey Harbor on it. And you see Willow Work on the other one. And they're
so,
obviously
different
also now
directions?
yes, there are two different directions here. And this sign is standing like in the middle of the road. One of the pathways are going a little bit more in towards the forest, and the other one is still like walking alongst the forest.
Hey,
The one into the forest
yeah.
is a little bit more wider and bigger, and then one that is along the forest is more like a trail.
So, Grey Harbor is in the north, right?
Yeah, am I learned enough to figure out what north is from the sun?
Okay.
Or better question. Do I think that I can figure out which way is the north based
Yes.
on the sun?
Yes, you do. You do.
Okay.
I also
In that
wanna-
case,
Sorry. Can I also like try to understand this? Get a feel for this.
Yes, you have an ID.
Okay.
Right. Is the forest into the forest path to the north?
Uh,
According to me.
according to
Correct.
you, the problem here is that you're not in agreement.
Okay.
So, Ace, you think it's better to walk alongside the forest. Gary, you think both of you are using the same skill of sun angling to figure out, because for those who don't know, the sun sets in west and rise in west and ends in east, I believe, or is it opposite? I
It's
forgot.
opposite,
No,
I think.
no.
Okay.
It sets in the west.
Yeah, and you can triangulate
it sets in
where
the west.
north and south should be because of that. And Gary, you think that the pathway would be better to go into the more wider pathway into the forest.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
So,
None of you are
quite
quite
simple,
none
isn't
of
it?
you are sure. Like it's like
so
you think.
I'm.
We just
Yeah.
hey,
The barkeep lady. Yeah, Titus. What is it,
It's
Titus?
not
We're
that
trying.
difficult.
Me and your brother are trying to figure out which path to go. You're interrupting
But
our
we're
work.
going north, right? Just take the path that's the coldest, because that's how it works. Farther north
No.
we get, the colder it gets. Are you stupid?
No, Titus.
Titus, we appreciate your input. Gary, I am in conflict. For the barkeep, she talked about how the pathway to the Grey Harbor is through the forest to the north. Now we're standing here, and the forest is to the east. What is going on? I think we should stay on the course to the north. There could be another forest up north.
The thing, yeah. So what she said was through the forest, and what you believe
Yeah.
is to the north is on the trail alongside the forest.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you
this
have two
forest
things
is to
that
the
are
east.
yeah. You have two things that are opposite against your
Yeah.
own.
I think we should not go through this forest. I think there will be another forest higher up north. I think we should follow the road.
I think we should do as
I-
Gary says.
Can I can I like try to figure out like how the sign was there and try to like understand maybe.
No, it's been like this for a long time. You could have done that if it was very new, but you look at the wood, and it's also started to like crumble and rot. So the twigs on it are very. You couldn't put them together and figure out it.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
Gary,
It was a
what do you
clever-
think?
clever thing.
I mean, Ace, you basically only live in a book, so I think you're wrong. I think this is or I'm pretty sure that this is the correct way. We should go this way.
I bring up my notebook and like I hold it up and it says like north and then it's an arrow. It's like
Yeah, and I take it and I point
Look.
to the other road.
Let's just go into the woods. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I agree.
Titus, everything can go wrong. And then I like
No,
grudge
but
start
that's
walking
what
to the
makes it
forest, but I'm like
exciting, yeah.
you can hear me muttering like exciting dying in the forest as I walk into the forest. Being both down by my two brothers.
You
Yeah, and
walk-
then I kind of like ignore my brothers and like just look around in the forest instead, just pretending they don't exist for a while. Sorry.
Yeah. You start walking a little bit more further in towards the forest. The forest road are still pretty nice to walk on. It's a very wide road, but eventually a lot of roots are popping up all over the place. And you think that it's going to be very hard to actually pull a cart, hint, hint, here. It would be very bumpy, and eventually maybe the cart wheels would like destroy a bit. Also,
yeah.
it starts to get very slippery slopey. There's a lot of rocks and stones everywhere, and you have to like walk up and down because the level of the ground is starting to change a bit. The trees are also growing tighter and tighter, and it's starting to be. And as the road is turning, it's getting hard to see what's gonna be ahead of you on the road. And it's starting to also get very hard to see in the distance. As you can see, it's not that easy to see that far in the current surroundings. Titus, your headache have started to lose a tiny bit.
I think we took the right path. I can feel the curse getting weaker, so this has to be good.
There you go, Ace. Listen to Titus.
I'm just like, I'm pointedly looking out in the forest and studying the trees. But meanwhile, I am getting more and more convinced as I kind of look over and I like to analyze things. Perhaps my brothers would say I'm overanalyzing things, but I like to think that I can figure things out. And the path to Great Harbor was supposed to be a non-wagon. We couldn't take a wagon, so this does feel right for me then.
After walking for a while, you start to see gray. You see a little bit of blood on a stone. And you're not really good at tracking. You've never really done that before. But this is actually something that's quite easy to track because you see a lot of twigs that have been like knocked to the side, and these are fresh. This happened recently. And there's something moving inwards towards the forest. That same direction to the blood.
Guys, there's probably something here.
The blood is very small.
We should.
Like a thumb.
Yeah, there might be someone hurt or something like that. If you guys stay here, I can go check it out. I think you should maybe hide here and not show yourself if someone comes.
Why?
Along. Just do what I say, Titus.
I feel much safer following you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look forward a bit and see if I can see something.
Be careful.
Okay, but don't lose track of us because you're wandering out in the forest. Good way to die. And then I sit down on the stump.
Yep. I mean, you guys should hide a bit. I think it's better if you can hide.
All right. Okay. So I take Titus and I find a tree or something and I start looking around in that area. But then let Gary just check out the short distance ahead.
Gary, you walk for a little bit. And you notice that the blood is actually increasing. And you're starting to see a lot of really... Something have smashed down on the ground. It's not big. It's a very small hole. Yes, very big hoof, you believe, that has trumped down the ground quite a lot. And even created some drag marks. And eventually start to realize that you're getting a little bit too far away from your brothers. But you do see some form of four-legged animal... like quite far ahead of you, like 100 meters. That looks
four-legged animal.
Yeah.
Is it bigger than a horse or
smaller?
Smaller than a horse.
You would put it around somewhere between a sheep and a cow.
Okay, so like
You've
a
seen
deer
sheep
or
and a cow.
something. So can I recognize it or?
No, I don't think this is a creature you've stumbled upon. But it doesn't look like a strange creature to you. You think it's a very strange horse.
Then
Small
I
horse.
walk back.
Yeah, you come back. We're standing by the tree, kind of waiting for you.
Yeah.
Did you find anything, Gary?
No, it was like a horse or something, or a donkey or something. I'm not sure.
Was it wounded?
Let's go.
Okay. Did you find out where the blood was from?
Yeah, I think it was from the creature. I think we can go on. Or what do you guys think?
I mean,
I don't know. Can you cook it?
I mean, we have food.
You
we
have
can't really take care of it.
You have actually slaughtered animals. I think even Titus, have you done any cooking in your farm life?
I mean, I have probably like chopped some veggies, but I haven't really butchered anything. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, but you've seen your mother cook food. You think this is something. Yeah, cooking easy.
I mean, of course. I'm sure I couldn't if I tried. I haven't really tried, but how hard can it be? And I mean, I have.
But I ask you, Gary. I ask you, Gary. How? Wait, did you say big horse?
No, it was
big
smaller
donkey.
than
It's
a
a donkey.
horse. I mean, like a donkey or like between a sheep and a horse or something like that.
The people back in the
Are you talking
tavern
about an elk or a deer?
No, maybe
or
a
like
deer.
an antelope?
Good job, Titus, for
heard
learning
of
all
something
the
like
animals we could see from our farm growing up. Anyway,
I mean,
did you? The people back at the tavern, they found they were talking about big footsteps. Do you see anything like that?
I mean, there were some hoof steps. Not that big though. But,
it's an elk.
No.
Yeah.
Much smaller than that.
To me, this seems like just an animal. Yeah, I think Titus is absolutely right for once. think we should just move on. Blood happens in the forest. We should keep moving. And I urge our group to keep moving. Yep.
You know, like
we
we
will
have
keep-
like deer pelts when we sleep. A deer is not.
It's true.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. You have. Sorry, you know it's a deer. You know it's a deer. Sorry, I forgot.
Okay. In that case, we will absolutely. Just
We might not be
right.
hunters, but
this mysterious animal. We've never seen anything like it. We see the pelts though. Okay, but we keep moving down the road. I'm keeping an eye out for more blood.
Yeah, you continue walking, and after a while, the pathway is starting to get smaller and smaller, and now you're starting to get a little bit hungry as well.
I'm starting to get a little bit hungry.
Yeah, should we stop and eat?
Yeah, we will. Well, that sounds like a good idea. We'll stop and have
water
5 days of
or
food.
something?
Sorry, Gary.
Do we have like a water skin or something?
Oh yeah.
Does our food include water?
Yeah, it's included into the 4 days of food.
Okay,
Yep.
right.
All right. Then let's stop and eat. Yeah, we stop and eat.
Yeah, you make a fire. You bring out your cooking gear, and you start to make some food. Who is the one who's cooking?
It's probably Titus. I'll be honest with you, it's totally Titus.
Yeah, I mean, I can
This-
do it. It's
this
no problem.
doesn't-
I mean,
Go so well, but it's manageable. But Titus is still like having some issues, and you realize he's
I'm trying
sobering
to
up.
help him out. I mean, trying to like correct his mistakes and like point him in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from the cooking while they're cooking. I just
What are
get
you doing?
frustrated.
What are you doing meanwhile, Ace? While they are trying to make something tasty to eat?
I'm walking around in the area. I'm studying. I've been in forests a lot, but this is new territory. I've never been here. So towards Great Harbor up north. So I am looking out for stuff. I'm looking for mushrooms. I'm interested in nature and stuff. So I'm just looking around.
You don't see any mushrooms currently. You see a lot of moss.
Yeah.
You see a lot of trails everywhere, actually, here and there. Mm-hmm. And you hear some birds. That's basically what you have here. And very thick, harsh, heavy forest.
Then
You eat,
I'll wait for
and
food.
you wait, and you feel ready up, and you're ready to keep on going again if you want to.
Then we do.
Yep.
After walking, who is taking lead?
Gary.
Yeah, I think Gary's taking lead. But then, like, I'm kind of walking behind because I don't want to be stuck with Titus. He always keeps talking. Like, he never stops talking about random stuff. And like, I'm interested in some of what he's saying, but he keeps like bringing up, things that makes no sense to me, and I just don't know how to respond. So I kind of stay my way so I don't get into one of Titus's large discussions about the life and the world. Yeah, nonsense to me, but I bet it's really important to him.
So are you behind Titus then?
Yes,
you're
I'm walking
behind-
behind Titus.
You're walking behind Titus between Gary, Titus, Ace.
It's correct.
Yeah. How tall are you, Titus?
I am really, really tall. I'm almost 150. I have absolutely no idea. How tall are you when you're 15 years old? I have no
You
idea.
can be pretty tall.
You can be pretty tall.
One,
actually.
All right.
160, 170 easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I'm 160, I suppose.
Yes, let's say that you're tall. Gary, are you a tall figure?
Yeah, I'm pretty tall. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty tall, and I'm not reading books all the time, so I'm not like super slender. So
Yeah.
You better bro.
Ace, how tall are you?
So I'm roughly I'm fairly short. So Gary's taller than me. So I am about 170. But I'm also like I may be reading and nerding out. But I did spend my youth actually working in the farm. So
Yeah.
I'm not like
For 2
twig,
years.
But
I haven't finished growing yet, and I'm pretty sure I'll be taller than Ace eventually. And I'm
That's usually how things happen. The younger sibling.
it's the day I fear. It's the day I fear. Titus looks down on me. But
After
I like
walking for a
Titus.
while, Gary, you notice that it's getting a little bit tricky to actually follow the road you're walking on. But now you're starting to say maybe you're more walking on a trail. But it's taking a little bit nagging forward. After a while, you need to stop and like think. And Ace, this is taking some time for Gary to like figure out. And you walk up and you point. That's the direction. How hard can it be? And you continue walking. And then suddenly you look around and Titus is gone.
What happened?
I was like, yeah.
I thought you were having an eye on him. I mean, he was talking all the time.
No, but I told him to bring up the flute. I started playing, and I just zoned out. And
Oh my god.
and then when he stopped playing, he was just simply gone. I was listening to the forest. Gary, no wait, hey, Titus.
You don't hear
I started
anything.
looking around for him. I guess we have to go back.
Okay.
Try to track him down.
Yeah.
You probably saw one of
how
those
far-
deers again.
When did we see him last? How was it, like a few minutes ago, or was it like 10 seconds, or when did
You think it was just a few steps, like a few tens,
Yeah.
maybe say 50 steps.
Okay, so I at least like 5 minutes ago, I was talking to him. I was listening to him, yabbing around about something about animals. I wasn't really paying attention, if I'm being honest. But Titus.
I don't hear.
maybe we should look back a bit and see if we
Yep,
can
I agree.
like
So we
check in the
loop back.
forest.
Yeah, we make a back loop. Look around.
Titus, while
Yeah?
your brother was so occupied about boring things, obviously.
Yeah.
What
know.
caught your eye?
I mean, I heard a bird call, and I realized and I started to make like an answering call on the flute, and I thought I got it to respond. So I was like trying to listen on which way it was, and started. I started to try to talk to this bird that I
Yeah.
took a fancy to.
You follow this bird, and after a while, you stumble upon something, and you're watching something, and then your eyes just widens and you freeze. You start to hear your brothers, but you don't really hear your brothers, and you don't really care either about your brothers.
I'm really curious.
Gary and Ace, you don't hear Titus, you don't see Titus. It's awfully quiet. All you hear is birds. The bird have actually started to increase in their songs, and you start to see that a bunch of birds are traveling towards a certain location, or they're gathering like about a certain specific area around the trees.
Okay. I like get get Ace's attention and like point over to that direction. Like, let's go and check it out.
Yeah. I shrug and I follow you, as I think you just know better. Just trying to find Titus.
You walk
and I
up
follow.
towards a hill, rocky, and you stand up on a higher edge, and you see Titus looking down at a big pile of a big dead deer corpse that birds are eating at. Or actually, you notice the deer is actually alive.
Oh, Titus, what did you do now?
I didn't do anything. Look, it's
Can I see what happened to the deer?
You think it's
understand.
been wounded in some form of way. This is the same deer you saw before, you believe.
I mean, are the birds like eating from its living body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I asked Gary, is this the same deer you saw before, you think?
Could be.
Make him
yes.
stop. Make the bird
Yeah, let's-
stop. Shoot.
Let's
You
go
walk
check
up,
it.
Titus, you walk up there and you shoo the birds away and they fly off. The deer is trying to stand up.
What kind of wound does it have? Is
It has
like,
it has some form of wound in its leg, and it has some form of wound in its belly, and it has some form of wound in its upper frontal leg. So it has 3 different wounds, and all are bleeding
like
a bit.
I look over them. It's like this deer was, this was clearly attacked. This is an accident. You don't get 3 wounds from an accident, right, Gary?
You don't see any arrows sticking out of it.
Yeah.
You just see
Titus-
blood and wounds.
Titus, I'm kind of shook. Like, Titus, did you see anything? I'm kind of looking around.
I mean, yeah, the birds. The birds had attacked him. It's. I mean, but
You
birds
look at
don't
the
hunt
side of the
deers.
deer's belly, and you notice that looks like something has clawed on it, or a tear wound, while on the leg there's more piercing wound. However, the leg on its frontal would be shoulder, but its frontal leg have a lot of bird naggings on it, so it's very hard to identify the front that wound. But the other two you can identify a little bit easier. But that's all you get.
Okay.
Gary,
Claw
can you-
marks.
Yeah.
We have to
there's
put him
bats.
down.
Yeah,
It's gonna
definitely.
suffer. Yeah.
I take out my the wood axe and I like kill it.
Oh,
Yeah. This is something you've done before. Ace looks away. And it's murdered. It's killed. It's dead.
It's
suddenly
not
hear-
murder. It's
It suddenly
mercy.
got really quiet. And it's dead.
Yep. We should head back to the road.
what
We don't
do you
wanna
think
lose the
did
road.
this?
Probably like a
Is there-
wolf or something.
it-
Hard to say. I mean, there are
suppose.
predators in the forest.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of like looking around in this entire area. I was trying to see if I can see anything spooky. Kind of shook. Like, I guess we go back to the road. And I start
Yeah.
like absentmindedly heading back to the road.
but
Is anyone of you remaining
Birds
birds
seen?
don't use.
Sorry,
well,
Titus?
But what? But birds don't do like stuff like that, right? They don't hunt deers. That's crazy.
No, this is not. I mean, there's probably some wolf or some bear or something that did this, and then
Yeah.
it got away. But so maybe the wolf or the bear is coming over here right now, so we should probably get away.
You think those were evil
But what-
birds?
No.
Okay.
But I turn back to you guys. Like, what kind of bear kills a deer and then just leaves? And I don't see
Maybe the
any.
deer just
Can I see
ran
any
away.
tracks in the area?
No.
But the deer
I-
maybe just ran away and got a bit, and then I
Yeah,
don't know.
I guess. Let's head back
I
to
don't
the
wanna
road.
stay
I don't
and
like this
find out.
place. Yeah, I don't want to stay and find out either. We head back to the road.
All right.
Titus looks sad, so
Who's taking point this time? Is it Gary again?
I
Is
am.
this-
No,
are
I
you-
am right now.
Ace,
Yeah, I kind
who's
of
after-
hurrying.
Who's after Ace?
Titus.
Titus. And
Yeah,
Gary,
I-
you're last. Yeah.
Gary's like
I'm not,
watching.
I'm
Titus
not gonna get
closely.
lost again.
Ace, you're taking point. You're walking steadfast. You see the trail. You keep at it. Gary, you're walking behind Titus. Titus, your mind is somewhere else. Gary,
I'm
you
playing
don't
a
really.
sad tune on the flute.
After walking for like 5 minutes, where Ace is taking clear point, he's absolutely sure about the direction. You haven't seen any trail or any road that he's been walking on for a while.
Ace, do you know where you're going? I mean,
Yes, I know where I'm going. I'm going north.
okay, but where's the trail? Like,
Gary, didn't you hear the lady back in the tavern? What did she say? Do I really have to quote her? Difficult road, no wagons.
yeah, where's the road?
It's being difficult.
It's a metaphorical road. She didn't actually. Why would you have a road that wagons can't go on? It's not a road as in a road. It's just a path to Grey Harbor. It's this way.
So how far back do I think it was where we lost the road, or when did I lost it?
The thing is, you don't think that Ace actually went back. So you and Ace discovered that Titus were gone at a certain point. You don't think Ace has gotten back to that point at all. You don't recognize the surroundings anymore.
Perhaps the road was in our heart the whole time.
In our heart. Yeah.
For once,
I mean,
let's listen to Titus. Let's keep moving. We have to get, there's a full day's work. If we get lost and we stop and we'll start going out in circles, we're never gonna get there. We have to keep moving.
I'm just kidding with him. I mean, I'm pretty sure that barkeeps in general aren't really that metaphorical. When they talk about roads, it's probably a road. What's a metaphor?
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm very confident in my pathfinding. Perhaps incorrectly, but I'm very confident nonetheless.
You keep walking, and after a while, you come to a very large tree that has fallen and creates this perfect ceiling. And it's a very big tree. I mean, all of you could actually sit under it with enough space to sit upright, and you would all be covered from like rain if that would be the case. There's a lot of moss.
What?
There are some mushrooms here, Ace. You don't really recognize them though.
Oh.
They look brown and they have small dots on them.
What time is it? Roughly, like how long
It's
has passed?
starting to get hungry and the sun is starting to go a little bit more down.
It's like yeah. Gary, Titus, it's getting darker. Perhaps we should look at setting camp,
Yep.
or
I think so.
should we keep walking? I'm not sure.
I mean,
This is
since
how
you
it
lost
looks
the
like
trail.
currently.
Yeah, since you lost the trail, we are probably gonna sleep out tonight. So, and I don't really feel confident in walking in the dark. I mean, we'll just be fumbling around. So
I didn't
think it's
lose
good if-
any trail. Let's get that straight first. I
I
didn't
mean,
lose
we all
any
know
trail.
what happened. We all know what happened.
Aren't we
I mean,
already
we were-
fumbling around?
Yeah, but
I
I
never
mean, if
wanted
we
to
do
know-
it in the dark,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So maybe
Right,
maybe we
so,
should make a fire.
Yep.
You make a fire.
Titus, yeah. We say and make a fire, and I mean, do we? I assume we have food left over because it's only been one day.
Yeah,
or
it's only been one
we
day,
have
so you have-
5 days of food. Yeah, we have food left over for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we eat dinner with the leftover food from today's ration. While I assume Gary and Titus will cook that up, I'm kind of wandering the area, and I'm sketching a picture of the mushroom. I'm not very artistic, but I like to be. I think I am.
Do you pick any mushrooms here?
No, I don't pick any mushrooms.
They are about this high. They have a very big hat. It's entirely brown and they have small dots on them. The dots are also brown but have a different light to them. So they make out.
Yeah.
Do I recognize them?
No.
Well, I simply make the assumption that we have food and there's no reason to panic forage right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We make some food. I look down around in the area, but
You
don't
also
see
see
anything.
lots of stones and lots of moss, and it's a very wet forest. Suddenly, it's like you could put your feet down, and if you like hold down, it's starting to like pop up water, like soaked water. So
Yeah.
the ground is very soaked in water, so to say.
I call back to Gary. It's like it's kind of nice. We're sitting there like we just eating dinner. It's like so, and I like. Okay, guys, I'll be honest. I may have lost the road, but I have not lost the path. The innkeeper talked about. No, I heard people in the tavern talk about marshlands between here and there in Grey Harbor, and I illustrate the ground is squishy, and that's where we ended up. It's elementary. This was all in the plan. It's all planned back at the
Yeah, I
tavern.
mean-
So don't
All
doubt
in the
me.
plan,
Don't
you said.
worry.
This is what you remember
Don't
from
worry.
from this what they said.
Have you heard that the hunters in the marshland found huge track marks of a creature with enormous feet? No, I haven't heard any news at all from the north.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what you remember, Ace.
Well, it's getting awfully damp, so that suppose means that we're getting closer to the sea. And since Grey Harbor is by the sea, I'd say that we're making good headway, right?
It makes sense. I like it.
You're very smart, Titus.
If we find a creek or a river, we can just follow it to the sea.
I think we should try to keep north.
I think you're right.
It's
I think
suddenly starting to get darker, and in a few hours, it's gonna get. You know that the sun is gonna go down.
Yeah.
so. Titus, I think would you be able to? I mean, I think we should keep watch tonight. I don't think everyone should sleep at the same time.
Wait, Gary. Do you hear that? I hear a noise, and I kind of look out in the forest. Is that wind? And I
This is how the mushroom looks like, by the way.
Listen. Oh yeah, the mushroom. We're not eating the mushroom.
I mean,
Um,
yes, Gary, I can keep watch. Absolutely, no problem.
So will you
I'll
be able to stay awake?
Vigilant. Yeah,
Will? Are you sure? Will you be able to?
I'll
keep
sit
the fire
down
alive?
somewhere where it's really uncomfortable, Then I won't fall asleep.
What do you think, Ace? Do you think can we trust him? Maybe if he takes the
Of course.
last, if he takes the last shift, then it won't be too bad. I think. If I start, then you
You
go,
can
and
trust
then
me, guys.
yeah,
When
of course.
I ever failed you? Hmm? Yeah.
Sorry, Ace. What were you
Thought
saying
so.
before? Did you heard something?
I was like, well, you guys are shambling off the watch. That's I'm like kind of dismissing because I'm listening about something. I think I'm hearing something in the wind, but I'm not sure. But I'm also very paranoid after the. I've been a little bit shook ever since the deer thing. But I'm like listening on the forest, like, whoosh, wait.
I don't hear it.
Maybe it was just the wind. Maybe it was just the wind. Sorry. The watch. No, I don't trust Titus at all. But he can take a watch if you'd like. You know, how hard is it to keep a fire going?
The fires, you have a lot of wood, and it's very easy to make. Like you take wet wood, you place it next to the fire. Eventually, that wood becomes fuel, so you don't have a problem making your fire going. And there's a lot of dead wood everywhere. So
Like
Yeah.
a lot.
Me trying to fall asleep. I'm keep listening out in the woods, and as night falls, there's a lot of noise, and I sit up. I assume we put Titus on watch, so I'm like, but then I hear noises of animals,
Yes.
and I wake up Gary. I shake up Gary. Gary. Do you hear that?
Yes. There's animals in the woods. Big news.
big news.
Like, if something, there might be something. I mean, clearly over paranoid also, but like something out of the forest. You know, if they got the deer, they could get us too. What do we
I
do if
just,
the
like,
wolves or bear? What if the
give him
wolf
the
bear
finger.
comes here?
And I turn over. Wake me up if there's something coming here. Otherwise, let me sleep.
Okay, I sit up with Titus. I like not to fall back. I can't fall back asleep. I try for like 5 minutes, and then I sit up with Titus, and I sit there and small talk with Titus.
Mm-hmm.
I
What are
like
you
start
so
rambling
afraid
about
of?
telling. I just start rambling and telling him about the mushroom. It's like, oh, the mushroom. It's kind of brown red. I think it's dangerous. Maybe.
Ace. Focus. Did you eat this unknown mushroom?
No, I didn't
You
eat
know,
any
Mother
mushroom, Titus.
always said you don't.
It was
eat
one time.
unknown
It was
mushrooms.
one time, Titus. It was one time.
Yeah,
And it passed after just a few hours.
yeah, but so you did not.
No, I didn't
You
eat any
haven't?
mushrooms.
No.
I just ate the food we brought with us.
Then just chill. I got this. This is my way.
Okay.
Don't be such a warrior.
If you see
You're
it, but
supposed
you
to be the
okay, but
big brother.
okay, Titus, but wake us up if there's any more noise.
Yeah.
And I go back to sleep. All right.
Who is next in watch after Titus? Because Titus, nothing really happens here.
Yeah, it's Gary.
It's scary. I'll go
It was my
poke
watch,
Gary.
but then yeah, go poke Gary. You try to poke me, and I said, fuck
Titus,
off.
you're
Go
able
poke
to
Gary.
stay awake the entire night. Or for
Whoa.
your watch. You're quite awoke.
Yeah.
You feel quite
Gary
fine.
takes over.
Yeah, Gary takes over.
Yep.
Gary, you wake up. Boring forest. No work. No one to rob. No money. Wet. Dark.
Sit around.
Yeah, fire.
Look into the fire.
Yeah. You wanna do anything?
No, not really. Try not to fall asleep.
And
Listen.
it's not that hard to fall asleep because you're tired. It's hard to stay awake because you're bored.
Exactly.
But you manage. Do you sit your entire time, or do you poke Ace a little bit faster?
No, I let him sleep. I mean, I know he's spooked.
Yeah.
I'm being nice to him.
After a while,
I
Ace...
won't tell him, of course, but I'm being nice to him. I take a little bit extra, actually.
Ace, you're in a really open field. All you see is ice, frost,
Okay.
mountains. You see a thunderbolt smashing into the mountain. The mountain explodes and the rocks are flying over the place. A huge gush of wind are coming your way, and then suddenly the world shakes and you open your eyes and you see Gary.
Good morning, Gary. Is it morning already?
It's dark. What do you think? It's your shift.
And he's the smart brother.
Are you okay? Can you take care of it?
Yeah. I got it. The fire's still going.
Yep.
Then I sit by the fire. I'm like, okay, I stoke the fire a little bit extra.
Yep.
And then I sit through until morning.
Yeah, you don't have any problems. It's very hard. You're wide awake after that.
Yeah.
And you all wake up eventually. Ace is sitting there, keeping the fire going. The tree is still over your heads. The mushrooms are there. And just like you left it.
All right. Cool. Yeah. We up camp and then keep moving north.
Yeah.
Are you trying to figure out where north is?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and Gary try to do it together.
You don't agree. Again.
Oh no.
So one of you is pointing one direction. The other one of you is pointing another direction. None of the directions have anything peculiar difference about them.
Can we
I
see the
just
sun?
sigh.
Yes, you can. No, you can't really see the sun. You see the sun, as you can see currently around you. It's very cloudy, and because of that, the light just spreads out across the entire sky to just one big white nothing.
I just sigh, knowing that Titus will side with Gary, and I was like, well, I will listen to you, Gary, this one time, but I know in my soul that it will not be just this one time. And then we walk in whatever directions Gary was, like garbage direction Gary was, pointing at.
Yep.
Yeah.
After 2 hours walk, you come across a little bit of an opening, so to say. There's more moss. There are no trees here for like a 10-meter wide area, and the sun is actually starting to get through a little bit. The problem here is that currently the sun is at its mid position. Because of that, you can't triangulate north and south. But if you wait for like 3-4 hours, the sun is going to get into another position, and from there you could triangulate west, east, north, and south.
Gary, I think we should wait for the sun until we know.
But do we know which direction we came from?
Yes, you do. You do know what direction you came from into this.
I think we should wait.
I try to look for myrstackar.
Anthills.
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 Have I seen any on the?
No. You do hear bugs at the moment.
Can I look at the trees and see if there's like more branches on one side of the trees?
Ah, clever. Yes, you can.
So can I from that determine like the south or?
This is something your dad taught you, but you don't really. You don't trust this at all, but you think you know a direction that way.
So does it align?
So you can make a guess.
So does it align with the direction?
No.
That we have.
So it would make you walk straight and then you turn and walk like a 90-degree turn, basically. This would.
Do you mean that like there are signs of which way should be north, but Gary has an impression that it's somewhere else?
Yeah.
Or like
Let's just say that Gary doesn't think he's that good at this specific skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you have maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah. I think so. I guess we just take a break here. We've been walking for a long time, and rest ourselves while waiting for the sun to get in a position where we feel confident.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you make some lunch, basically. I guess.
Yeah.
Early lunch.
Yep.
Early lunch.
Yeah.
After a while, after waiting for 4 hours, the sun gets in a better position, and now both you and Gary can agree what direction would be north and south and west and east.
And and we travel to north.
Yeah.
To north we walk.
So does it confirm the suspicion that I had about where it was?
If you, this is going, so you walk into this opening. However, you don't know anymore where you came from. Suddenly, you forgot.
Okay.
But this is not the same
I'm
direction as that you wanted to walk, Gary. After looking at the trees and the branches.
And okay. Yeah. Then we keep walking.
You walk
I'm looking
for
through the forest. Yeah.
Yeah. You walk for another 2 hours. And eventually, you're starting to walk uphill a bit. Then you reach a few stones, you climb over the stone, and Titus, your eyes widens in a new shock that you recognize. Down at your feet, there's a big pile of a dead cadaver with bones that something have really brutally gnawed at. You recognize the deer that's been
It's
eaten.
the same deer.
It's the same deer.
How can I tell? Is it?
Yeah, you recognize the place.
Oh.
This really looks like the same deer. It's just been eaten.
All right. Brothers, how have you managed to grow up by the woods, live there your entire life, and still be this bad at, like, tracking and woodcraft and whatever?
Ace was
We're
one
following-
that was.
We're following Gary for most of the path, really.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the big brothers. Am I gonna have to do this all by myself? Right? I mean, I suppose I can.
But Mons, does it look like something has like done additional work on it?
Yes,
Like
a bigger creature. This was not done by crows. You
Do
can
I
also
see
see that
any-
it's been teared and something has been like growling on it. You can see bite marks on the bones. After
I wanna. Can I see any footsteps are in the area?
You wouldn't call it footsteps.
Okay. There's any tracking marks?
Tracking marks. Tracking marks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a very unique smell here as well.
Okay.
Different smell.
Rotten meat.
Can I?
Yeah, not just rotten meat, some other animal.
Okay. But if we see any
Something
tracks,
that smells so much that I can distinguish it over the smell of rotting meat.
Sorry, Ace. What
Because
did you say?
well, then it's
so it's very strong scent. Very strong scent.
Yeah.
But the tracks, is it possible to like? How do they look? And can we see a direction they're going in?
Everywhere, like in circles. A lot of tracks, so to say.
Okay. And are they big or are they small?
Small, smaller than very small. But they are very like crying like. The entire area feels like it's been a very violent place, so to say.
Do I think it could be wolves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gary.
Then
While the other two brothers are standing confused about the surroundings, you're looking at the trees. The trees feels like they are vibrating, and there's something shaking you around the shoes and your skin, and suddenly your hair on your arms are tightening up, and then the feeling is gone.
Guys, I think we should try to go back and find a path again. Get out of here.
that didn't go so well last time we did that.
Yeah, that's because you took lead.
That may be true, but that doesn't mean you could do any better.
I mean, we can help out.
Do you think there was wolves who did this?
Maybe, could be.
I mean, I really
don't
just want to
wanna-
get past the Grey Harbor. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I don't want to stick around here.
All right.
Seems
Then,
dangerous.
So, guys.
mhm.
Yep.
I mean, I've heard a story about a person who got lost somewhere and made like a trail of stuff so they could find their way back. How
That's
about we do
actually a
something
good
like
idea,
that?
Titus. Yeah, that's actually a
Okay.
good
Yeah,
idea.
I know.
Do we have anything that we could make a
So-
trail with?
I mean, we have
take
like
my-
a hatchet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
We have a
axe.
hatchet. We can just like
Oh.
make an X
Mark the
on the
trees?
trees. Yeah, there are trees like
Smart.
everywhere.
That's smart. All right. Yeah. So we want to keep tracking. Me and Gary are trying to together find the way, and Titus has the axe and he marks the trees whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I make sure
And we
that
try to keep-
I can always look back and see the last marked tree, so I know for a fact that we're moving away.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help like Titus because I see that he's holding axe like really weird, like someone that doesn't know how to use a hammer. So I'd like
Yeah.
try to correct him so he knows what he's doing, basically.
Yeah, yeah. You start walking, and you follow this procedure. And Gary and Ace, you're starting to actually agree with each other on like what pathway to take. You've been triangulating the sun. After walking for a few hours, the sun is starting to, slow down and set a little bit, and it's starting to get down. Temperature is quite nice. It's a lot of moss. The ground has always been wet, and nothing peculiar happens. Then suddenly, Titus, you realize that you're planning to put an X on a tree that you've already put an X on. You notice this.
Guys,
You notice this. Let's actually explain it better. So you're putting an X on this side of the tree, and on the other side of the tree, there's already an X. So you walk around and you see, oh, I have already marked that on the other side.
But we're walking in
That's not
circles,
good. Yeah.
even though we're trying not to.
Yeah.
Gary and
We
Ace,
could.
you are certain that you have not walked in a circle.
I mean, Ace, you're the smart guy, but since I've been trying to mark the, have we moved in a circle, or have we like turned around and moved backwards?
No.
This kind of mental gymnastics was difficult. Perhaps it's just someone else who's also lost.
Could be.
Helpful as always, Titus.
Probably
That's a good answer. Probably not. I mean, I don't know enough, to argue. There's like, but like water, like we can see like waters. Then there's like still within the swampy marshland now again.
Yes. It's kind of always been like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to wander around, just like, because I'm confused. I can see Titus's proof that we walked in a circle, but I truly believe that we have not. So I'm trying to like walking around, trying to see if I can see anything that might explain. Me wanting proof is so I'm trying to like walk around and see if I can see anything.
If I look back and see, like, as I said, I try to make the signs visible so that you can always stand at one marking and see the last one. Can I see the last one I made if I look back?
Oh, you mean you could watch your entire backward trail, so to say? Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
And we kept going straight. And I'll try and move forward and see if I still have.
Do you mean you want to backtrack here? Is that what
No,
you're
I
saying?
mean, if I stand by the tree and turn 180 degrees and looking back, can I see the last mark I made?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And then if I look forwards, I mean, the mark would be on the other side of a tree.
Mm-hmm.
But this is somewhat straight ahead. I mean, I just run forwards like a couple of.
Are you
I
trying
mean, I
to?
suppose it has to be like
Are you trying to make like you're trying to figure out how to make a better straight line all the time?
I'm trying to make sure that we actually walked straight, because I've had the impression that we were moving straight. And if I can move to the next...
But to do that, you have to backtrack.
No, I have to look forwards and see, all right, where, if we were walking in a circle, where would the next mark roughly be? It should be a tree that's visible from here.
But we've been walking for hours.
I don't really follow what you're doing. Sorry. I mean, you have to. For example, if you backtrack your entire pathway for 2 hours, you could, in theory, figure out where you accidentally make a turn. But to do that, you have to back. When you're standing here and looking straight forward, you see a line that is straight, but that could turn later.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I'm just trying to see if it feels, because I'm kind of confident that I've been moving straight the whole time.
It feels straight. It currently feels straight. You don't think you've messed up? It's your brothers.
I'm leaning towards another lost person. That's the most likely.
I try to look around in the forest and see if there's any small fallen trees.
A lot. There's dead wood. You're getting a picture that this is a really old forest, and you don't see anyone trying to make a camp anywhere. You don't see anyone you don't see any stumps that have been cut down, for except one we've currently seen. But most trees are fallen over because of dead age.
Yeah, so I pick up one of them and cut off the branches and stuff, so I get basically a straight long stick that's maybe 4 meters or 5 meters long or something like that. And I tell Ace we can use this to make sure that we walk straight. So
this would slow down your path.
Yes.
Okay.
But so does walking in circles. So I mean,
yes,
yeah. I'm kind of well, they're trying to figure out something to do. I'm looking around this area, still wary of the wolves in this area, and listening to. While they were talking, I thought I heard a sound coming from between the trees, and as they're trying to get my attention, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a really good idea, Gary. Do the tree thing, and then did you guys see anything while you were chatting? I'm really kind of wary for whatever's out there in the forest still.
I have a question for you, Ace.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What did you hear?
In
your mind. In your mind.
Yeah. So, this dead wood area forest. This is when I was had a spooky night, and I laid all night listening to the wind, and I thought I could hear the similar wind once again. But specifically looking for wolves though. But I thought I could hear something maybe making the wind making weird noises in the forest that I'm not used to. And I'm trying to see something, if I can see anything between the trees.
Oh no, you don't see much between the trees.
But I'm very rattled.
Okay.
I mean, we all grew up next to the forest. When you describe this as a really old forest, is it different from the regularly aged forest?
Yes. A regularly aged.
I mean,
your forest has a lot of activity in it. This doesn't have activity in it. And when I say activity, I mean people are doing things around in the forest. For example, making a fireplace here and there, cutting down woods. You don't see that here.
So this is forest where humans or people seldom goes to.
Yeah.
Feels like that.
Yeah. I mean,
so this
should...
Yeah,
go.
Is this a forest that no one owns? Is it just
Yeah. I mean, as far as we know, right? We're just walking in a
I don't
forest
know,
up north.
Titus. Yeah, it's just a forest. Doesn't matter.
So you continue forward with the new method with a 4 meter stick to make it
Yeah.
perfectly straight line, so to say.
Yeah. Yep.
And I try to like keep an eye on the X's all the time and
Yeah.
see if I
Are you
diverge
making more
from them.
X's often? Like the trees
Yeah.
are currently really close to each other, so it's very
Yeah.
easy to have like 3 X's within that 4 meter of
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
This is starting to take a while. You've been walking for another 2 hours and it's starting to get dark. And you don't really know where you currently are. It is just huge black trees everywhere.
Yeah. At this rate, we're going to run out of food, guys, if we don't find a way to, get out of this path. We only have a few more days of food, and we have still no idea exactly how far it is to Grey Harbor.
I want y'all to look at the adventure. Boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I suppose we can continue in the dark, so I suggest we set camp.
Yep. Definitely.
Gary,
Yep,
you can
so-
hunt, right?
Yeah, but I don't really have a bow or anything, so it's not really. Maybe we can try to set some trap. What did we have in the inventory?
Not much.
A lot of copper.
Would I? Yeah.
That's gonna be a rough one. No rope, no sharp, something really sharp with extra.
In hindsight, I think we should have brought more stuff from home.
Maybe. It's also heavy to carry. Yeah, but we will set camp. Same thing.
Yep.
Just try to pass the night.
Who's taking the first watch? Because I'm guessing you do the same procedure as before.
Yeah. Same. Titus, Gary, me.
Yep.
Titus,
Well,
you're sitting in there.
yeah.
Your brothers are asleep. It's really boring. What are you
Yeah,
gonna
I
do?
grab my pipe. It was originally intended as a gift to father, but since he's not gonna use it now, so
Yeah. It's a very lovely pipe.
yeah.
Yeah, you're
I
sitting
carved
there.
it myself.
Nothing is really happening, and you're enjoying the moment. After a while, you believe it's starting to get like maybe it's Gary's turn. I think. Oh
Yeah.
Gary! Gary!
Gary, you wake up. It's Titus is shaking you, making you wake up.
It's your turn now.
I like fishing.
What?
I try to like smother the fire.
Yeah, the fire's
Or
out.
no, I don't. I
Okay.
okay.
You do what you want to do? What you want to do? What do you say?
Is the fire? I don't want to smother the fire. I take that back.
The fire is gone.
Yeah, so I
Fire is
poke
gone?
Ace.
No, the fire is still burning.
Oh,
I poke Ace.
Ace,
I
you
like
wake up.
shush.
yeah. Gary? What?
I mean, something
you-
is.
Do you hear that? I look around the forest like panically.
Yeah, dark.
Now
Dark. Very dark.
I grab a burning branch.
You have a burning branch.
I grab the axe.
I grab myself. Guys, did you hear that? There's something out there. And I'm kind of like pointing the direction where I'm hearing the crunching sound of
Yeah.
branches
Yeah.
and stone. And much stone.
I try to like sneak out in the darkness.
How far do you want to go?
I mean, not very far, just a bit, so I can be in the dark
Yep.
and like try to hide, basically.
Ace, Ace, Ace.
Ace
Yeah.
and Titus, you see that Gary is getting further away from you, and eventually you can't really see him that well anymore. It's getting really dark.
It's in the middle of the night, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it.
Yeah.
Yep. Ace, grab a torch.
Yeah. I do it. I get a
Animals
torch.
are afraid of fire. This is known.
Yeah.
Stop being a wuss.
Okay.
I mean,
All right. Then,
whatever's out there knows we're here. Let's just wave around the torches.
You're right.
Do I notice
yeah.
if the animal come closer or not?
No, it doesn't sound like that. It actually sounds like it's moving away. The sound shrunk.
I'm asking Titus, do you think that was the... It didn't sound like wolves. I don't think the wolves can make that kind of noises with branches. I'm kind of like holding my my makeshift torch, which is like slowly dying, but I'm not noticing it. Like,
I mean, it could have been whatever. It could have been a cow. I mean, it was something heavy, probably. But yeah, it's not here now.
I like the stage whispering out, like, Gary, you out there? Did you see anything? Any big tracks? Any
I
wolves?
come back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see anything.
Okay.
We can.
I guess
Yeah.
should we wait until morning? I'm not sure I'm
I
sleeping
mean,
more tonight.
we can't really move right now.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's
No,
fine if
we-
we just keep a watch.
Yeah.
keep the fire going.
No. The
That's
fire
the
is
point
still
of the
burning.
fire.
Yeah, the fire's still burning. I will take the next watch because I don't want to sleep anymore. And while I do, I'm trying like to look around for if I can see any tracks and like not far out, but I take like a burning log thing.
Yeah, that's really hard in the darkness.
Ace,
You
Okay.
sit your ass down. Wait for morning.
you walk around in a
Yeah.
proximity of 5 meters and you don't see any tracks around you.
In that case, I will just go back to camp and I will wait until morning.
Yeah. Do you stay up all the entire night, Ace?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Gary and Titus, you guys wake up and Ace is sitting there, still kind of wide awake. He goes,
You couldn't sleep.
No, but that's okay. I got a few hours before the thing happened. I'll be fine.
Okay. I try to look around and see if I can see the tracks.
Yeah.
you scavenge the area. After a while, after getting like 200 meters away from camp, after walking a lot, you suddenly find something. You shout, Titus, Ace! And you all come to the same place where you see really huge drag marks and trees that are just being pushed over. But that isn't what's making you really freaking you out. You see bite marks on trees. You see.
Yeah. I kind of look at them like kind of shocked, and then I point at the drag marks. I'm like, we saw those before. We saw those earlier with the.
You didn't.
We
This
saw drag
isn't.
marks earlier.
This isn't the same. These drag marks
Okay.
are huge, really huge, like
Okay.
carriage huge. You can
I was like-
stand all together in the same drag mark.
Okay. Then I say, I don't think this is wolves. I don't think this is wolves.
Nope.
Nope.
Can we see a direction they're going in?
Yeah. As the trees are being pushed in one direction, it's easy to see the direction. It's going kind of straight. It's turning a bit, but it's generally straight. But yeah, you can see the direction it's going in, and from where it came from.
And is it the same direction that we are going?
Suddenly, you realize that you don't really recognize the place anymore. And you have to walk around for a while to find your exes again. And no, you're not going in the same direction as this. It's like something like that. Or let's make it this.
So let's not go towards the big thing that carries stuff and breaks other stuff. Huh? That's okay? That's a plan?
Yep. I think we should take the tree, use the X method again, and then keep going towards the north. And we should probably have a pretty good idea of what direction we came from, so we can go the same direction again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose. I kind of like look into that direction. What if that thing sneaks back sneaks behind us during the night?
Didn't sound
It's-
very. Wasn't very
That's not
sneaky.
a sneaky thing, no.
I kind of look around and I look at all the trees because I assume there's a bunch of other trees fallen, that except for those that was clearly fallen now. It's like, do you think the thing did all of this? There's a lot of fallen trees here.
No, I don't think so.
All right, then I guess we keep moving and we keep to the tree thing.
After walking for 2 hours, this takes extremely long amount of time because you have to like make sure everything is correct. You work together as a team. Titus, tell me about how this operation is being executed. Or tell me about how good teamwork how does teamwork look like? Do Gary and
Well-
Ace perform well? This is where you're allowed to be a little bit of a storyteller and describe the success of Gary and Ace and yourself. And also
Well-
describe a little bit of how your party group are executing things.
Well, I mean, this whole experience so far, I mean, it's starting to unnerve all of us. But at the same time, Ace and Gary aren't fighting anymore. We have started to get like a proper routine. When we move forward, we make a lot of clear markings every side of the wood. Use his stick method, and we realize that all right, we are lost, but we are lost together, and we have to like make this work out. We cannot just complain, even if Titus really wants to complain, but he keeps his mouth shut and
Even
thus
Titus
making it very
Yeah. So Titus doesn't even complain himself.
no, not really. At least not on Gary and Ace. He recognizes that his most important contribution here is not being a nagging child.
I see.
And since he's an adult, that's what he does.
So this experience that you've basically been put in basically brings you guys a little bit together, you say?
Yeah, I say at least it's. I mean, we've always been together. I mean, we're brothers, but we're cooperating in a way that we really haven't done before.
Yep.
Titus does not ask when are we getting there,
Yeah.
because he recognizes that this is actually.
Are we there yet?
So
Yeah,
Gary
this
is
the
standing
situation.
in the middle, and he's trying to triangulate this branch between 3 different trees, trying to make it perfect. Then he realized maybe Ace, you need to increase the height of the tree to the branch to get a better position, and Ace follows perfectly better. And then Gary walks around and makes the cuts really quick, while Titus and Ace are standing there waiting patiently for their brother. You proceed with this forward, and it goes really slow. You don't know how far you've reached, but you believe that you've been able to establish a straight line, and everyone is very satisfied with the result you gotten so far. You take a break to eat for a while. While you're eating, Ace, there's something nagging on you, and it's very hard to explain. But you don't feel that you are alone with your brothers. you've been quite paranoid about everything going on. And suddenly you have a feeling that you're being watched and that there's something really close nearby.
All right. Without saying anything, I start like looking around in the area and see if I can see anything. My brothers probably think I'm being paranoid, but I think this is rational. So I start wandering around. Since we're on a break, I just like start wandering the area a little
They
bit.
are currently making food.
Yeah. So like I started wandering around and looking between the trees and see if I can see anything. Yeah, kind of like embracing the feeling a little bit.
Yeah.
Something's nagging at me and trying to figure out what it is.
You're starting to sense that there is something. You're getting a direction here, actually, and you're walking. You're looking back, and your brothers are still there. You haven't disappeared yourself, and then you come across some form of really large cliff. And in that cliff, there's a big open hole. You're standing at the outside, looking.
Yeah, on
into
the
this.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not standing inside.
I'm looking. I'm like kind of looking in. Do I see anything in there, or is it dark?
Light actually goes in, but you see that there's some form of turning inside, so it's hard to see what's continuously. But this is actually a really big opening, and you could easily walk in, and there's turning, and water is running downwards into it. By the way.
I yell out, Titus, Gary, come check this out, and then I want to walk in.
Yeah. Titus and Gary, you're getting quickly up. I mean, you're not paranoid as Ace, but this forest has alerted your senses a bit, and you actually leave your food cooking and you run after Ace. You see Ace walking into a cave, and he disappears.
Ace, stop that! Stop! Does he stop?
I'm disappeared. I walk around the corner. Can't see me. But I clearly don't come back.
Yeah,
Oh, I run after.
Go after as well. I don't run. I just walk.
Ace.
Titus and Ace, you're getting closer and deeper into the cave. Gary, you're following after slowly, and you notice that the cave is really big and wide, and eventually it opens up into a bigger clearing inside. And light, as it's very early in the day, the sun hits a perfect angle to go straight into the cave and illuminates its inside.
I got standing there and try to catch up to me.
So we can. We can still see outside.
No. Tiny bit. Yeah.
All right.
And small angle of it.
Yeah. Do I catch up with Ace?
Oh yeah. You're standing there together in this big hall.
Yeah.
The road also continues moreward down in.
All right, Ace, let's go back outside. Now,
Titus, have you seen all of this? This is crazy.
I know for a fact Grey Harbor is not in a cave. And since we're going to Grey Harbor, we are going out of the cave.
Screw Grey Harbor. We could. What could be in here? What is this place?
A lot
Gary,
of things
you
could
catch
be
up.
in here.
Yeah.
Gary,
What are you
help me
doing,
drag.
Ace? Come on.
Gary, have you seen this place?
No,
It's
and
really
I don't
cool.
care.
It's wonderful. It's wondrous.
It's
No,
dark. It's a cave. And there are stuff written on the wall. Let's get out of here.
I was like, what stuff? And then I look at the wall. I go to the wall. I'm like, I start like looking at it, trying
Ace.
to comprehend what's on the wall.
Your entire fear disappeared when this excitement tangled you, and you see this text. However, you're having a really hard time reading this text.
I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, guys, there's some text here. Can you read it?
Gary and Titus, Titus, you look at strange scribblings that apparently are scary. Gary,
Yeah.
text. I mean, text.
I just, I mean, I'm like, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna go and eat. And I walk out.
You walk out.
Yeah, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
I'm standing there with my
Gary,
notebook. I'm like taking.
Ace, do you read this out loud to your friends?
Yeah. I was like, I'm like just mumbling, right? I'm like, Polgroza Gayaltial Palblog. What can that mean?
So
Are you
Titus,
sure
are you
you read
hungry?
it properly? Yeah, I'm starving, but
Yeah, let's go.
I also don't want Ace to be eaten by a bear. And this is
There's no
that's
bears
true.
in here. Have you looked around? There's no bears in here. Let's just check this
It's,
out, and we can keep moving. It's better than being lost in a forest. At least we found something.
Check what out? It's
how?
an empty
How
cave.
is this better than getting lost? We are still lost. We're just stuck. Unless you want
Let's
to
just-
live in a
I agree.
cave.
Let's just look through the cave for like a little while.
Gary, do you see anything in this cave at all that sparks your interest?
No.
Sure.
Are there
You see
money
the
there?
glimmer of gold.
Oh, it's money there. Oh. Then I'm interested. I go and pick it up.
Yeah, you suddenly, after a while, realize that there's a copper coins lying a little bit everywhere here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I take it.
Mhm.
And
Ooh,
I
piece of coin.
start to look around, like, really suspiciously.
You all see that the pathway continues downward, but to get there, it's starting to get really dark. How many copper coins do you want to have? I mean, you could spend like an hour here and make your bags really filled. Also, copper coins can actually weight quite a lot. You currently collected up to 20 more coins, but that actually
Yeah.
weights you down a bit.
I mean,
Alright, so
I,
is
I'll
Ace
spend
Maybe-
just stuck by...
It's gonna tell me how long I'm gonna take in here. I assume he's just,
yeah.
right because I'm standing here. Because I looked down this dark passage. I was like, Titus, you have to go up to the fire, get our lunch, and get a torch, and we can see what's down there. I like act like it's obvious. Like this is such a no-brainer.
Oh, alright, I suppose. No point in being hungry, and
And not seeing.
I-
It's always a point
I
to eating
move.
and
I
seeing.
move out to the camp.
Yeah.
All right.
Titus, you go back out, you collect the food, and you come back in here again?
I mean, yeah, I eat more than my share because
Eats
they are
Ace's
being
food.
stupid. And
Did you bring a torch, like from the fire, or like a lit branch, a bunch of branches?
I stand by the mouth of the cave with a torch and say, "Guys, you still in there?"
Yes, come in here.
Ace, how loud do you shout?
I shout pretty loudly. Like, I mean, how large is the cave? Like the distance from Titus in the entrance and me by the dark. I shout loud enough so he can hear me.
When he does that,
Oh, it looks like we awoke a bear. Let's go out.
I was like, Titus, come here with the torch. I did stage whisper instead. Come on. And I kind of back up a little bit, but my interest is peaked. I go to Titus and I will get the torch. I'm gonna explore this. I'm pretty
And I
certain.
will not give you the torch.
Titus.
Ace, where's
Ace, I
where's
think we
Gary?
should get out of here. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
He's-
All right.
He's picking coins or whatever down in the cave.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard that bear, I'm going out of there.
It didn't really sound like a
staying.
bear.
You like money, but you also like living.
Oh,
Well,
the zombie. Okay, I don't want to talk with the zombie.
oh, that's much better. I'm like, Titus, give me the torch. Let's just check this out. 5 minutes, but in and out.
You don't hear the ominous sound thing. When did you become a hunter or a warrior or whatever? You got
I kind
to
of look.
read
I kind
things.
of.
You like to read, you got to read. Gary, you like money, you got money. You got what you came from. Or let's move.
You like to live, so you get to live. Is that the deal?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I have gotten all that I asked from this game. I'm living.
If-
I have a full
If
belly.
works leaves me alone, I leave work alone. That's what you wrote.
Yep, that's. And I mean, this is a scary cave. I leave it alone. It leaves me alone.
But what's with this? With the text? Who would have written? A bear wouldn't have written that text.
No,
mean,
A
honestly,
shamble
right.
man wouldn't have
Fair.
written the text either.
What use is text? I mean, it's only text. There's no value in text.
Yeah, Ace, let's hear it. What use was the text? Tell us. What came from your oh so
Wait.
important reading?
That's what I was gonna figure out. I don't know. I'm yet to figure out what the text means. We need to
But
go
you have
deeper.
read it.
Worst
Why?
case,
Why?
Gary will use the axe and we'll get bailed out of any situation. Come on, guys. It's a no-brainer.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I'll be honest. I only
I-
tricked you. I tricked you to go to Grey Harbor just because I wanted to check out Grey Harbor. Okay. I'll be honest. It was a ruse.
Who cares? I don't want to go into the
It's a-
cave.
It's a dock, you know. Like, there's nothing there for us.
Since I'm
think we should-
still carrying all of our stuff, I'm just
Yeah.
moving away now.
Yeah, I'm actually going with Titus here.
Okay, I'm standing there and I'm glancing down the cave. I look down in my book at the weird message that I found, and then I close the book and I walk after my brothers.
All right. You leave
I
the
go-
cave.
I go and
Yeah,
take some
but I'm
food
not
from
happy.
Titus.
I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. And I eat the food from Titus, and I look at him angrily, and he knows that I know that he stole my food, but but we don't
You
say
still
anything.
get some, but that was stupid
Yeah.
tax.
You walk out of the forest. And
Out of the forest.
no,
out into the forest.
you walk out into the forest.
Oh, that was easy. Say no.
You've
Say no
already-
to the cave.
You've already eaten a
I
bunch,
solved the riddle.
and you continue this strategy forward. This little arrangement made some weird arguments, and you're having a little bit harder time. Or Ace, how does it look like
Yeah.
right now after this little cave experience when you're continue your method forward?
I mean, look. We've proven, Gary, I think, has proven that the method works, and I will trust the method. So I will not jeopardize our methods. But I am less, I'm not so happy anymore. Like, we found something cool, and it was the first cool thing I've ever found. I only, I got to go to the nearby town, and that was all I got to do. So I found something cool, and I didn't get to explore it. And like I'm less paranoid now, though. Like for a weird reason, my interest has been piqued. So.
But your
So I'm less
grudge
paranoid
doesn't.
than before.
But your grudge doesn't really affect your work with your team.
No, exactly,
Yeah.
no.
Gary and
You can
Titus, you can
recognize
clearly
that it's
see that
also
Ace is a bit
interesting
grumpy
to-
here, at least.
I mean, Ace is always grumpy. When he doesn't get to read his books, then he gets grumpy. No, I mean, just let him be, and he'll be happy soon.
You continue walking forward, and nothing really happens for a while. You settle down again, you eat some more food, and then you continue onwards forward. It's not getting dark yet, but eventually you believe it's gonna get darker again, and you might have to prepare for a camp. So you're looking for places where you could basically set up somewhere to sleep again. It doesn't really see anything, so you have to continue onward. And you look behind you, you still see all the X's that you've made. The pathway is going upwards now, and you're starting to climb altitude.
I mean, we will
This is
climb
good,
altitude.
right?
Yeah, I think it's
North
good.
is up.
North is up. Makes sense.
North is up,
Tide-
makes sense. Yeah. And you eventually start to see some strange things around the trees here and there. Titus,
X's.
Sorry?
Do the strange things, are they X's on the
No.
trees?
No. As you're hiding up the branch that you have,
Log.
the log. Yeah, sorry. You suddenly see a doll hanging in a tree branch.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
My
guys,
my favorite thing.
guys, guys. That's creepy.
It's a doll.
I'm not. So I have my interest of nature stuff. Has I've seen additional mushrooms in the distance, and I'm walking to the mushrooms, and Titus is like pointing at a fucking terrifying doll hanging from a tree, and I'm like, yes, Titus, that's really good. And I'm approaching these mushrooms in the distance because I want to check them out if they're
All
the
right.
same mushrooms.
Gary,
as the
Gary,
people.
Gary. Ace is doing it again. Stop him from walking away. Bring him back.
I mean,
I'm at
Put
the
a leash on
mushrooms.
him.
I'm by
on,
the
Ace.
mushrooms. Is there anything of interest?
They look like brown, brown yellow, really tall, really small head tops, and they don't have little dots on them.
I don't have time to investigate now because my brothers are harassing me for some stupid reason. So I'm picking a bunch of them and I'm going back to my brothers. And then like I see the doll and I'm like almost drop my mushroom. Like, what'd you do, Titus?
Yeah, I suddenly felt the need to make a doll and throw it up in the tree.
Why?
Ace. Is that mushroom you just picked? Can you name it and can you tell me mother used to serve it? Because otherwise you're not eating the mushroom.
The mushroom looks like something your mothers have actually served you guys. You all
can we
kind of
all
Right,
recognize.
fair
I'm
enough.
like, I'm like, yes, this is the X mushroom, right?
Right.
And I put them away. And then I like, but like, why are we talking about my mushrooms when we're talking about the doll thing?
Because the doll changes absolutely nothing. It's creepy, but I'm not gonna climb up and get it.
there
And
might be some people around actually.
I
That's
have
a good thing.
I just have a quick question. Do you add the mushroom to your backpack?
Yes, I put the
Yeah.
mushrooms to my backpack. How beautiful. Yep, beautiful. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. The doll is there. Yes, Gary. There might be people around. That is something that could be true.
The doll looks really old, like almost starting to rot. It's made of really fine fiber for making clothes, and it's filled with small tree twigs to make it stuffed.
Can
This
we?
is
and
a
very old.
how high up is it in the tree?
not that high. I mean, you could just pick it down easy.
All right. Okay, then I'll pick it down if I don't have to climb the tree.
Titus, you said you would.
I mean, I suppose a child might have dropped it and someone else just walked on by and, like when you drop a glove and then you put it on the fence by the road,
That's fair.
someone
That's
just
reasonable.
picked it up. It doesn't have to be like a cursed thing.
No.
I'm
It's
not
just
stealing my head, so I don't think I'm not getting cursed for holding it.
You
At least.
notice one thing about the doll though. It was hanging on the tree with a noose around its neck.
All right, yeah, that's really, really creepy. But well, dolls are stupid girl stuff. So I mean, I guess that's
Is
understandable that
like
it's creepy.
Is it like a thread or something?
Yes, a thread. It's a thread around its neck. It goes into a tree branch and makes it hang in the tree.
I take it down and I like take the thread.
Oh yeah, it's not a really nice thread. You don't think you're gonna make much of that. Even you think it's if you try to do things with it, you think it's gonna break eventually. It's really old.
Right. I guess we find creepy doll. I guess we keep moving.
Yeah, add to inventory, creepy doll.
Yeah, we're bringing it with us. Creepy doll to inventory. Titus picked it up. There you go. All right. Then we're gonna keep moving. Same strategy.
You continue upwards, and eventually you're starting to see more of these dolls hanging a little bit here and there. And eventually you also see a skull with its breast, chest, and shoulders still attached with a noose hanging in a tree.
Oh,
And they all look old.
Titus?
Or
You are now allowed
much-
to pick this one.
How much do you want to examine this one?
I wanna. Gary can look it over. I'm not
Yeah.
going close to that. The Mr.
Yeah,
Practical can figure it out.
Gary,
I
have you-
approach like and look for like if there's something, any traps or anything like close by or.
Oh, no. It's just hanging in the tree. As you take a stick and poke at it, it falls down because the rope was so rotten and old that it couldn't hold on to that little tiny shake you made.
all right, Gary. Gary, what do you make of this?
So do I think it's like a human, like a full-grown human?
That's a very strange thing. You're confused about this one because this. Have you seen a dead corpse, by the way, or a skull? You have.
I think so. I think that's
this
reasonable.
this doesn't look like the most recent dead skull human you saw. This looks different. Also
that's terrifying.
smaller.
That's terrifying. Yeah.
Okay.
Gary,
Yeah.
is this a child?
I don't know, Titus. What do you think?
The skull is
I
smaller
pick
than
up the
Titus' head.
Titus not a child. He's
Yeah, it kind of looks like that, and all of these dolls.
guy.
As you look at the skull, it has bigger eyebrow in bones. The hole in the nose is usually very small in humans. You all seen this before, but this one has really big. It's a really big nose hole here,
Okay,
and
so
the
it's
cheekbones is also really big, and bigger than yours.
So, all right. Some kind of lore check here, I suppose. I mean, because stories and dreaming and stuff. I mean, that's usually Titus' cup of tea. So,
Yeah.
does this like ring any bell? Well, I mean, is it obvious that this is a child of the forest or whatever?
No, you
No,
don't know this. This is
all right, right.
This looks
weird.
This,
the things that you kind of know about in this world, and you've grown up quite isolated, far out in the reaches. You have only heard stories about things. You have seen trolls, but trolls are usually huge, and they are really evil. And you've heard stories about dragons, but you've actually never seen a dragon. And you heard stories about witches and curses, but you've never seen a witch, and you really
I
never.
have been cursed though.
Oh, yeah, you've been cursed.
Guys, this place is really creeping me out. I think we should keep moving before it gets dark. I don't want to sleep here.
No. Yeah, no. That's not that. No.
Yeah. Let's keep moving.
As you're moving forward through the forest night, Gare is pushing a tree branch a little bit away, and it swings back. And nothing happens. And Ace, you're approaching it, and then smash! You get a big pine tree branch straight in your face, and you can feel a bit something ripping as your nose and cheek gets a little bit torn.
Ow! Ow!
It
God!
stings!
Gary, be careful what you're doing. I'm trying to
You
see
need
if
to watch out.
bleeding. Like, watch out! You freaking hit me!
Keep your. I mean, you need to like watch where you're going. I mean, you can't just like.
Yeah, I'm I'm just gonna keep going.
You keep on walking forward. Gary, you're taking point. It's getting very hard to actually keep on doing the method that you already have, making a straight line, because the road is going so much up and down. It's really wet here. You're standing on stones, sometimes that are really big. You're walking around in circles around huge trees that are like, you couldn't, if you guys were actually trying to hug the tree, you wouldn't make it around it. Some of the trees are actually also starting to look strange and deformed. As Titus, you're looking at the tree and you believe the tree is actually looking back at you. Just like you look at the sky and you see clouds, and you can say, I can see faces and people in the clouds. You believe you see a face in the tree.
All right. And I stay and investigate. Is it an actual face or was it the trick of the light?
No, you're certain that you see a face in this tree. You see a nose, you see eyes and things. And Gary, as you're walking past it, you don't see this. I mean, it looks like a strange tree, but...
It's a tree.
Gary?
What's up?
Yes, but it's a tree with a face.
Where? I don't know. I don't see it.
I was like, what are you guys talking about back there? Wait, we have to keep moving.
Nothing.
It's getting
Okay.
dark.
Yeah.
As you're jumping around the tree corner, Ace, taking point because you want to get out of here, you turn around to look at your brothers, and you see this next to you. As you see Ace and Titus standing on the other side of this tree.
Guys, there's a man here. And it's just a point. Yeah, okay. Is it a statue, or is it made out of wood, or is it a person?
It's a statue made of wood.
Okay. I'm like, geez, what is this? I kind of like go by and like look closer, completely creeped out.
It's very tall.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
very
coming
big.
as well.
Is it big? That massive?
It's
Okay.
larger than you.
Okay.
If you put Titus on your shoulders, it would reach some of its height, maybe.
Okay.
Ace, you look at its lap, and in its lap, there is a bag.
My curiosity is piqued, and I become calm very fast, and I reach out to grab the bag.
Do the rest of us see this?
Yeah, you see this. You see this. You
Yeah,
can't prevent.
I mean, okay, this is not like the face in the...
Okay.
Ace,
Yeah, and I grab the bag.
feel free to open what I gave you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
You can show it
I'm
as well.
opening. Okay, so I assume I found this in the bag.
Yes, you find that in. You don't
Okay.
find all the
So-
things around, but
Okay, and then the book itself, right?
yeah.
Okay. So out of the bag I pull out this book. I'm like, ooh.
And
Exciting.
it looks exactly like that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a book. Great. What should we do with it?
He got the book. I turn towards the woods. I would like a bed and a way out of the forest, please.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
To give you guys a picture, this is how it kind of looks like. But you can scroll through it if you want to.
Okay, so I have access to this entire book.
Yeah, you have access to this entire book.
There's a lot of information. Okay.
So, congratulations, Ace. Does it? What?
What is this? It's some kind of scripture from a madman.
So does it say anything useful? Or is it just like
It's
a book?
it's
If you jump
definitely
back-
something.
If you jump back to the end of the book, real quick, just to make that.
Yeah.
I'll help
Okay.
you out. Or if you look at
The alphabet.
yeah, if you look at this.
Okay, yeah. So in the back of the book, there's some kind of language translation, but that's really all I. And then all that is a bunch of madmen speaking about magic. It's occult of
So
some sort.
the language, is it the same language as you saw in the cave, or?
Could be. I need a little time. Maybe we should keep moving, and I will look through the language and see if I can find something.
Was there anything else in the bag?
Was there
No.
anything else in the bag?
No. There wasn't. So this is the language that you saw previously.
Yes. Push out, push.
So something.
Yeah, Ace, you help your brothers a tiny bit, so I'm showcasing this entire page, so you can.
So it's yeah, I have it written down too for myself. Forest. So okay, so I'm realizing that is the same, and I tell it to you. Like I think it's the same, and then I'm trying to find a translation of it. Forest.
Yeah, great work. We're in the forest. The book told you that?
Yes,
Very good,
Titus. There's so many guilty. It's hard. Yeah, okay.
So this is where you could ignore Ace and you could try to help him like we're doing right now, or you ignore him and he will do this on his own, on his spare time during the adventure. And you can, it's getting dark, so to say.
I mean, I can read-ish. I know the letters and I know the like idea of reading, but I've never read a book.
So how this is kind of looking is that Ace is super excited. He's putting his finger down and reading Ganginan and then Helper, and then he looks over to the other page. So you're following him over his shoulder if you want to. And if you want to, then I will do this and continue doing things like this.
Because
Are we still by the statue thing?
Yes, you're still by the statue.
All right. So just, I mean, I'm not gonna. I am not that much of a reader, but as this statue, it's of wood. Is it carved like out of the trunk? I mean, on the picture, it looks like it's sitting, leaning back, but it's not carved. More like something has become wood rather than being made.
It's very hard to either it's grown out of it or it's just sat down and became wood.
Yeah, it's not an obvious carving. It's
this looks amazingly done. Whoever made this was
So Gary, do you think this is like a giant who just fell asleep and became a tree, or is it?
So have I heard about giants?
That's my only guess, really.
Yeah, you've heard about giants. You've heard about trolls being so huge that when they fall asleep, they create mountains, and trees are actually growing on the troll, and as the troll rise up, earthquakes are made, and that's why you have earthquakes.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like this place. I would rather keep going, honestly. I try to investigate and see if I find something else around this.
Not really. More a knife, a really rusty knife, maybe.
Yeah, I take it. It's
a very rusty knife. You don't think that's good for anything?
Okay.
It's still proof of civilization.
Yeah, kind of proof of civilization.
Spooky forests.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I try to like. Can I climb the statue? You said it was like.
Yeah. You can climb it.
do the face of the statue like look serene? Does it look like a happy person, or is it like someone
Calm.
turning to wood in horror?
Calm, like meditating, sleeping.
I'll sit on his lap and play a little tune while the others just snoop around.
Yeah. It's getting very dark at the moment.
I suggest that we move and set camp, and then Ace, you can read your book, and we can fix some food, and maybe, find a safe spot. Maybe we can actually sleep up in the trees. It might be a bit safer if we can climb it.
That sounds really uncomfortable.
You have walked past a bunch of trees where the trees are going off in three different parts, and in the middle part of that tree, it's like an upside down. You understand what I mean.
Yep.
It would create this little holder, so to say. It's not perfect, but because the trees are so big, it is possible.
Can we find any of those?
It's very dark, and you're doing this on your own because your two brothers are busy with whatever you want to call it. But eventually you do find one of those, and you believe you could climb it.
Okay. So, I have a meta question.
Shoot.
There is some slight variations with translations here, and I'm not sure if it's something I should play on in lore or if it's a small error.
Like I said before, so there are 100% no errors in the translations, and use whatever you as William figure out with your own knowledge, Ace will figure out with your own knowledge, and you are correct. There are some...
I just wanted to check. I mean, I just want to check that was intended before I put any time into it.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna.
If you want, you're gonna notice that book is written in a very strange way, and it is written in a strange way on purpose.
Yeah, that I understand. But the translations had some words. Okay. Absolutely. Are we taking camp?
Yeah, I'm pulling you guys over to that tree place.
Yeah, you can make a rope, and you can basically use the rope to climb up.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a healthy boy. I can climb a tree.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a professional climber.
Yeah. So you get up on the tree, and you make a little pseudo camp on it. And from here, you actually have some really good angles of observation. And you can see in distances. Even though everything is black, it's not that easy to see. However, it's tricky to have a fire up here.
Fire. Let's not have a fire in the tree.
In that case, it's hard to read, so it's been taking some while, so Ace can keep on doing his work. Who's taking first watch?
I guess I am. I want to finish this.
Sure. Yeah, you can probably see a few things because of the moonlight, so to say.
Yeah, I grabbed the early moonlight.
Yes.
But we can make a fire, right? Can we?
No, you're up in a tree.
Oh yeah. But I was... Okay. Is it worth? Okay, maybe it's worth actually just being safe for the night. I guess I'll take a break during the night then. I'll do a little bit during my shift though for moonlight reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not really. I hear some noises, but I'm not really super much paying attention visually because I'm like, I got really into the book.
Caught by the...
He's got his priorities straight at least.
Yeah.
After a while, Ace, your shift is over and you wake who?
Titus, probably. No, Gary. Yes, that's like a shift. I wake Gary.
Gary, you wake up.
Gary, it's time to take a shift.
Okay, sure. Did you finish the book yet?
Not yet. I'll finish it in the morning. I'm very tired.
Okay. I will sit and listen.
Gary, I have a question for you. What is going on here? In general. What is in your own mind around that question?
I mean, basically, we're trying to still trying to get to the city. So right now we're just trying to like. I'm not the stuff that Ace is doing. I mean, I let him do it, but it doesn't really. I mean, I don't care about it honestly. It doesn't matter. We're going to the city,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem like it's very important to me. It's only if feels like something that Ace would be interested in. So yeah.
Of everything that's happened on this trip currently, what's have been strange to you? What do you find strange?
The creepy dolls, definitely, and the creature that wrecked trees, and that's why we're trying to get away from that right now and sleeping up in bigger trees that
For more
shouldn't
safety,
be able
yeah.
to wreck. Yeah.
What were the dolls? What were the dolls? What is your idea about the dolls? Why were they made, or in anything? Why were they hanging like that?
No idea.
All right.
I have no clue.
All right.
That seems very strange for me.
Yep. Yep.
Probably some old hag or something that had some crazy idea and did this.
Your time of the night ends, and you believe it's time to wake up Titus.
Yep. I do that.
Titus.
Anything happen?
Nope.
Titus.
Right.
Yeah, you wake up. And after a while, you all start to emerge onto the daytime as day and sunlight comes back. And eventually, Gary and Ace are waking up again.
All right.
So now with some daylight from this tree, can we see any further? How high up are we compared to like the trees next to us?
You're really high up. You had no idea you climbed this high.
So
Can we
You're looking
see?
down, Titus, and you're getting high on anxiety. Actually, if you jump down, you're gonna break a leg.
Oh damn.
Oh,
That's pretty high.
how are we like when I look out? Are we like on top of like above some of the other trees?
Yes, you are. You could even see across some of the treetops.
All right. So okay, what do I see in the distance?
Endless forest in all directions, together with fog. Some of the forests are going up in height, where it creates a little bit of a mountain wall. Others are going down, so it's very up and down structure.
So and like before we entered the forest, we were still just one day walk from our childhood home.
No, from
Like, so-
you've been walking for a few from your childhood home to the tavern we began. Basically, took 3
Yeah.
days. From the
All
tavern
right. Yeah.
you began to Grey Harbor should have taken 1 day. I
Yeah.
think you've been here for 3 days.
And like before we entered the woods, was this like what the environment looked like, or are there any like mountains in that should be visible from here?
You didn't see any mount. You have never. So when you were walking
So
in the
I
open
mean, like
field,
the place where I grew up, where I've lived all my life, from there were the mountains you could see in the distance.
no,
Right. So,
it was a very flat area you lived in. Very flat.
all right. So this.
So we can't see any
the-
landmarks or anything that we recognize,
No,
basically.
no, just trees,
So-
pine trees everywhere. So you're sitting in this place where there are 4 tree branches going up. You could climb higher on one of these four free branches, but it wouldn't really give you more sight.
No. All right. Yeah. Let's not do that then.
As we're sitting there and kind of preparing for the day, and also thinking that we need to climb down from this terrifyingly high tree, I finish up a translation, and I tell my brothers, I've been poring over these pages, and it's really much like very much like the scribbles of a madman, but and I'm not sure about the translation because it's not perfect, but I'm getting something along from the text that we found in the cave. I wrote down in my notebook, and I show you my notebook. I have my notebook. The message meant something about a black forest that is alive, and apparently something about drinking blood. It seemed a bunch of craziness to me, but considering everything we've seen here, I'm not sure. Something about a forest being alive. Even if we knew what it is, it seems kind of unhelpful and more like terrifying. Clearly, I'm a bit like nervous, but interested as well. I'm a little bit skittish. Have you, Titus? You know stories? Have you heard any
Yeah.
stories about anything about a living forest?
I mean, now I'm not the science guy, but isn't forests in general alive? You talk about dead wood, but I suppose that's not what you're going for. I mean,
I, who would write that on a stone wall?
I don't know. Perhaps there's some madman, but I mean, there are like lots of stories about things living in woods, like spirits and such. But and like we saw like this giant guy who had like been turned to wood, and I mean, I suppose the opposite could be true as well. Wood turning
Yes.
to giant guy. Uh, so yeah, no, I mean, or and Mons, here you have to fill me in if like yeah, you have totally heard about this, but
No, you haven't.
no. So so that's something, I guess. Did the rest of the book say?
I'll give you a hint about that. I will
yeah.
give you a hint about the book. That book contains a lot of different information mix-matched about this place,
Yeah.
but other places as well.
Yeah. It seems to be a ton of mumbo. It's talking about magic and power.
Does it talk about the magic of finding your way through the woods, or perhaps the magic of having more food?
Sadly, it only speaks of the opposite: an endless forest. It talks about various.
That looks
various
like a living tree. That picture on that page.
Well, that is genius. I've never seen a tree like this before. It just doesn't look alive. It just doesn't look alive, but act like it too, moving its tree twigs at me like claws. Yeah.
Didn't you
Here,
say
look.
that you saw a face in the tree, Titus?
Yeah, I did. Then we saw a whole guy of a tree, so it kind of fell to the side as unimportant because you didn't see it, right? So the forest is alive.
Wait, there's another text while chanting. There's a, yeah, the forest alive. It's talking about that visualizing is a key to magic, and then there's a picture of a tree with a face.
Oh, so let's not visualize that then.
So no visualizing trees with faces.
Oh,
And especially don't do it while chanting Gash Nurak Shanguras Nakat. This is part of the message to gods.
Don't do that, right? So you told it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But I'm not sure. There's a lot.
So sorry, what did it say? Can you visualize what you want to happen, or what did it say?
Yeah, it's talking about visualizing is the key
to magic.
Yeah, but then it's also multiple things, chantings and whatnot. There's multiple spells that he talks about, like complete gibberish to me. And then it also becomes somewhat of a diary. It's something like a journal.
So,
it has
so
been
if
several
it's
days. I'm walking in, even though I'm constantly heading south. I just come back to old places. I can't get out. And eventually, even though I'm trying to leave, Wildhjarta won't let me. I came here to bind a great source of power to me and tame a god. It was a creature dwelling deep in the woods, but it is the entire forest I felt. And now I am trapped. I can't get out. It doesn't sound so good, guys.
Gary, as
no,
you suddenly hear him say this, you remember clearly that when you climbed up on this tree had
Yeah.
3 different
Yeah.
branches going out. Now it has 4.
Yeah, and we were much higher now than before, I think.
Correct.
So I tried to visualize like a knife or something. Try to think, right, like really focus and think about like a knife.
What do you want to do with a knife?
I just want to see if something happens. So I just like try to really focus about it.
Why did you pick a knife? You could have picked anything. Pickaxe, rope, sack, scissors, torch, but you picked a knife. Why knife?
I mean, I think knife is really useful. You can use it for a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah.
he's just a knife guy.
He's a knife guy. You don't see anything, and nothing happens. You sit there thinking about a knife, but nothing.
Is there anything else in this area that, like, because we walked upwards and then there was a bunch of dolls and then we found the big skeleton, or like the weird skeleton, and then we climbed the tree. Like, is there anything we can see in the area?
No, as I said previously, as you watch out, you see endless forest. You're above
Forest.
tree height, by the way.
Okay.
So, all right.
So
It said something about chanting as well, right?
yeah,
Not just
yeah.
visualizing, but chanting.
Chanting spells and music. So he did multiple
Right.
attempts. He did multiple attempts trying to figure it out.
All right. So I look towards out in the vista, like, so, and parsley, sage, and salmon trout. Stupid forest, let me out.
Oh, oh! Can you? Okay. Can you say what you said again?
Parsley,
I'll be
sage,
back.
salmon, trout. Stupid forest, let me out.
Yeah. Okay.
I
What
will
do you
be
think?
back in 1 second.
Yep. Nothing really happens. Nothing really happens. I have a question for you, Titus. What is
Yeah?
going on? What's going on? What's happening here?
Well, it's obviously that this place is a some kind of bad place, or at least like not necessarily bad in an evil way, but bad in a this is, we have gotten our we've bitten off a bit more than we can chew. It's only my second experience of a forest, and I'm pretty sure that this is not really usual. And like the big tree guy, that's something like, that's story stuff. Because it sure looks like someone has been turned to wood.
Okay.
And like this whole, the doll, I mean, yeah, it could be a witch, I suppose, but that skeleton was really unnerving as well. So I mean, Titus is getting less and less sure of himself, and be like, right, this, it might not just be a matter of walking straight, because when you look around the forest, it's woods everywhere.
Yeah.
And
You said you were cursed
mean,
before, and then you said you're no longer
yeah,
cursed.
yeah, that was me joking about experiencing the first hangover.
Yeah.
But and Titus is sure somewhat like he didn't really believe it was cursed. It was just the way he talks about stuff.
Yeah,
As I said, he's a happy guy. But this is more like curse stuff.
Oh,
Because, I mean, yeah.
Are you cursed right now?
I mean, I don't think. I hope not. But but I mean, either the woods are cursed, or perhaps I mean, we have been going straight. It's not us. It's wrong. That's wrong.
Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the woods that are strange.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure of that.
So something is strange with the wood.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean that book. I'm not gonna take everything for granted. That's just the truth. But at least someone has been here before and thought it really strange. And I mean that book was like regular human sized.
Yeah.
And the statue was mostly not.
So
I would
So
like to
that-
add something about that book. This is
Yeah.
something you also notice, Gary, and probably Gary the most. That book is extremely valuable. You've never seen a book so well made and so in perfect quality. It is. You've never seen anyone craft a book like that. That book could probably sell just because of its outer sides, and the paper quality is amazing. This is something you know, Gary, because you know like materials and stuff have a value.
maybe it was worth more if someone didn't rip out a page suspiciously. So okay, I've skimmed this book now, and I'm trying to understand what happened. And it looks like someone journeyed into these woods seeking power, seeking something, seeking the gods. But the forest turned against him. It rained on him until he simply died. I would guess until he's just simply gone. It was the last entry is that it's been several days and it just keep entry that the forest won't let him leave. He's now trapped and he can't get out. That's the final entry. And then he's talking about the different rituals and magic that he tried to do, and that he saw a face in the trees with branches moving even though there was no wind. And after I think there was some fire related thing, the forest just rained on him until he died or failed or
rained
disappeared
as
or
in
whatnot.
rain from
Yes,
clouds.
yes, as in water rain. And yeah, he's
But
talking
because-
about how the fire, he was trying to do some fire magic of some sort, and then everything spiraled out of control and the forest fought back.
Because Ace, that book, how old do you reckon it is? Looks really fresh.
Can I make a guess? Educated guess.
It looks really fresh.
Okay, then it looks fairly new.
So either that is like a magic book that doesn't get wet, damp, and something, or it just got put there like yesterday.
The bag
And
was the bag was really well made, by the way. So
Yeah,
you
Like
would all
really-
you would
the bag could
all
keep
of-
it safe.
Yeah, the bag could keep it safe really well.
I think it was just protected.
Because but still, I mean that big statue thing, it was a lot bigger, and that looks like a regular sized book. So it was probably not the tree guy who wrote it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So someone put it there, the bag. And you say it's a nice book. It's fresh.
It's some sort of journal.
Have you guys?
Yeah,
Are you still sitting in the tree, or have you gone down?
I'm
No,
still
I've
in the
been
tree.
but I've been thinking about like I wanna get down. I need some kind of rope or something to get down.
Gary, you believe that you could probably climb down here. You think Ace would probably manage as well, and Titus would probably manage as well, but it's very high. This is
How am I the worst climber? I mean, Ace is a
I'm
bookworm,
probably
man.
and I'm also the same size. I think.
yeah. You're probably gonna get down. but it's very high.
Okay.
But
yeah,
if Gary, if
and
you want to go down, you can go down.
Yeah, I say something like, yeah, I really don't understand how this book is going to help us. I mean, it's just a book. We need to get out of this forest. I mean, we need
the
food
guy-
and
Yeah.
we need shelter.
You're right, but the guy in the book he died in this forest, or he at least got
I mean,
lost. He never
he's a
gave
crazy
out.
guy.
Came out. I suppose, but
Gary, aren't you in the slightest suspicious of like what's going on here?
I mean, what I've seen, it's like, yeah, it's a crazy guy that left a book. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not saying
Some
we're gonna
weird
sit on our
dolls.
asses and read the whole day, but still, like the knowledge of someone who has been here before, who perhaps had more food than us and perhaps lasted longer than us,
Yeah.
could prove useful.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I mean, that's kind of the point of books, I suppose, to like leave your knowledge like in a physical place instead of like in your head, so that you don't necessarily have to tell them yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I get bored, so I start to climb down.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Ace and Titus, are you staying up
calm.
there for a while, or are you going down too?
No,
I mean,
we're climbing down. We're gonna follow.
Yeah. Once Gary is on the ground, I'll climb down and expect him to catch me if I fall.
Me? So, Gary, you're getting down pretty fast. Titus and Ace, you're taking your time. And Gary, you land on your feet, and you don't recognize this place really much. The current, where you were climbing up, the area you were left in, was very rocky. It was filled with up and downs and really mossy. This is a little bit more grassy, and it's very flatty. The level is perfect. You saw in the distance that the level would change in other areas, but this is different. You also see a axe smashed in on the tree side, and you're 100% that wasn't there when you went in for the night.
And assume it's not our axe.
Titus and Ace are still up in the tree for the moment.
I'll be right back.
Sure.
Yeah, I take the axe. Does it look like?
Ooh, use flex.
Like, yeah. I try to inspect it. Is it functional or is it?
It's a really old.
Nice.
It's a really old axe with a lot of carvings on it. Suddenly you hear a scream, and out of the forest, a man comes running at you with an axe, really angry. What do you do?
I mean,
Gary's first reaction.
First reaction. What's your first reaction?
I hold my ground and I pick up my other axe, so I have like two axes.
Yep.
I back off a little bit. I'm like, Gary?
Ace and Titus are watching this from the up in the tree.
Okay, I haven't gone down yet.
Yeah. He swings at you from the top. What is the best way to parry an axe coming at you from the upside?
I mean, I try to block it basically.
With your axe?
Yeah.
Your axe and his axe connects, and they do the typical axe chink lock. What happens from here? You can now tell the story, and I will pause you whenever I feel like if you wander off in too much. But explain the outcome.
So I try to, since I have two axes, I have one axe that I blocked with, and I take my other axe and I chop at him with it.
Where at him with it?
I mean, like at his side, basically.
Like the rib side or lower belly side?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I try to hold this axe while with my other axe.
Is this with the intent to kill?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
More like wound him and get him off me.
All right. So you slice in the axe on the side. You see blood coming down, and Titus and Ace, you see Gary killing someone from where you're at. The man drops his grip on his axe, loosens, and he walks backwards and he falls down on the ground and he lies still.
So is he dead?
Yeah.
I try to
I drop-
check if he's.
Like,
Ace and
who's
Titus
that?
next.
Right.
Can I drop down here without breaking anything?
Yeah. Gary, you're first up. Ace and Titus are shocked and they say, "Who's that?" And you examine if you want to.
Yeah, no idea. I mean, the guy attacked me.
Yeah.
I try to examine and I try to see who is and if he's alive and.
Yeah, what you find is basically a really old man. And this is older than your dad. It's probably not as old as your granddad because your granddad died of age. This man has long white beard. His entire top hat is just gone off hair. There are some hair strings on the side. He's really dirty. He doesn't have any shoes. His fingernails are filled with dirt. His clothes are really old and they look a bit strange. And he doesn't seem to have anything peculiar on him. His clothes are also really torn and filled with holes. And his blood
Who's this man?
is rinning out onto the ground. And you see how it covers the roots.
Gary?
Yeah. Yay.
No idea. That guy attacked me.
Was it me?
How?
How?
What
do you mean?
Did he sneak up on you? Did he say something first?
No, he just came running against me and just attacked me. So I just defended myself basically.
Hey, guys, do you hear that? Do you hear this breathing?
Yeah.
Is it a breathing sound? I try to look
hear
around
from
and see what
where
makes
it
what's
where it's
making
coming?
what's making that sound. I'm trying to look around.
Yeah, it comes from everywhere. All directions.
That's
like
not how sound
this.
works.
There are
Is it inside our head or is it
No.
from different?
So you don't see any leaves or any trees making any wavy movements.
Guys, yeah,
Yeah, this is creepy.
Mark.
You look at your axe.
Should we?
And it has a word on it
Oh shit.
in your language that you found out.
Oh, I mean the mysterious language.
Yeah, the mysterious language. It's a symbol it's a text in it.
Okay.
But I'm coming back to it soon.
Yeah.
All right. So, whatever benevolent spirit in the woods, he struck first. We would just like to get out, please.
Ace, you translate the text in the axe to prison.
Yep. Prison.
Prison, yes.
Prison.
Titus, is there a spirit in this wood? You said spirit in this wood.
I mean, I said whatever benevolent spirit, as in,
Okay.
like, yeah. I'm pretty sure that there's something here.
Yeah.
Like, if it's the woods themselves, or like, I don't know really what's
Yeah.
what kind of religious practices this family has, but like this general worship of nature is. I mean, I just figure it's common. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Titus, you see a trail. It's a very small trail.
guys.
Yeah.
Come, follow me.
I mean,
This is
I'll
working
follow
out.
Titus. Sounds like
This is magic.
What's going on?
I am visualizing, and the forest is kind. Let's go. Thank you. Kind, benevolent forest,
Yeah, let's go.
and we move.
Yeah.
Gray and Ace, you're following something. Titus is just walking in random directions. He's zigzagging here and there and making some strange pathways. You have no idea what's guiding him.
He was talking about a path. Do we see a path?
No.
I was like, Gary, I don't think Titus is all right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. He said he
Do
saw
I-
a face in a tree before as well.
I was like, hey, Titus, what are you doing? Where are we going?
The forest. I am still seeing the track, right?
Yep,
Trail?
yep. Very clear.
I am cooperating with this generous, kind forest that wants to help us. And since it's showing the way, we are just following. You can even hear the bird. That doesn't sound like horror birds that eat alive deer. That's the nice singing kind of bird.
Yeah,
So
it's a good point.
when life gives you bird song, then you don't question that. You enjoy the bird song and continue onwards.
Titus, did you hear that sound? I think there's someone else out in the forest.
Yeah, hopefully not axe murderers.
We already
if you,
we already encountered one of those.
yeah,
No, there's not a second or a third or a 400th.
we don't. But if someone comes, let's see if we can talk first.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, good plan.
Sounds good, right?
The word appeared. It was an R axe, the one we brought here, or was it a?
No.
Which axe did
No,
the
it-
word appear on?
On the one on the tree.
Yeah, the one on the tree. So there was a big. That axe is very beautiful, and it looks really well made.
Very ornate. Yeah.
Yeah, with an ornation
Okay.
with something on it.
There's the word on it means prison, and this is an endless forest. Did we end up in forest prison?
Yeah, seems like that. So Titus, can you still see the path?
Yes, I can.
Okay, guys.
The path is taking you away from this sound. The sound is in one direction, and your trail is going in another direction.
First of all, screw the sound. Second of all, there is a lot of words in the book from the mad. Let's call him the madman. The madman has had a lot of words in his book about. It was all about visualization. So maybe Titus visualizing a path out of here is not the worst thing that we could be following. I know this is very much against it, but it says in the book, and I'm inclined to trust it.
Yeah.
I've never read anything
agree.
false in a book before. People have lied to me, but books don't lie. This is proven. This is a fact. You guys haven't read enough books to know about it. Weirdly enough, I think we should follow Titus, Jerry.
Yeah, I think so too, actually. That's a good idea.
Okay.
You keep on walking, and after a while, you come into a really dark, open place. You don't understand why it's so dark. It's probably still night, but the sun is gone, so to say. And it should be around lunchtime, and the area has a lot of grass in it, and a stove.
And the sun is gone.
The sun is somehow just not getting in here.
Okay. So we don't know who turned off the lights. The trees. I want to study the trees around them because I read a lot in the book, and I heard Titus seeing spooky visions about trees. So I want to look at all the trees. Like, are they? Is it windy for the first thing?
No.
No wind.
Really. No wind. No wind.
And is the sky clear?
Yes.
I think in rain clouds.
Yes.
Okay. And are the tree branches moving?
No.
Okay. Good. There's no face on the trees either. In that case, we are in a spooky, dark circle, or like an opening.
Does
clear.
the trail end here, or does it continue on?
It ends here.
Dancer.
So do you guys want to go back?
I'm like, Titus,
no.
where do we go now? Where's the trail showing us?
This is where it stops. So
Visualize harder.
Yeah. Don't pressure me. I'm trying. All right. So let's see.
Gary, you see suddenly a human over in the area, standing completely still.
Is he looking at us or?
Back at you. It is back at you.
Okay, I poke my brothers and point them out. Can you?
You all see a standing human in the high grass.
So
I walk. I start walking towards it. Excuse me? Hello?
It doesn't make a movement. It's standing completely perfectly still.
I kind of take a step back a little bit, shaking like, Gary, do something.
I take out. How far away?
Don't axe him. Don't axe him. Don't axe him.
How far away are we?
Like 5 meters away from it. It's actually quite close.
Mister.
I take
Mister.
out a coin and I throw it at him.
Yeah, it doesn't move. You hear a very hard ping.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a stone guy, maybe.
Okay.
I walk
okay.
forward.
Okay, Titus, check it out.
Yeah. Hey, Mister.
You walk up to it, and that coin is lost, by the way.
That's better.
That's fine.
It hurts Gary, but it was.
You see a
Money well
statue
spent.
when you're getting closer.
Of wood or stone?
Stone.
I woke up to with Titus after I realized that
Yeah.
Titus is close enough that I felt comfortable.
This is
yeah.
a perfect made statue. It's incredibly good.
Yes, this is someone who doesn't turn to stone. Because
Titus,
that's-
people don't just turn to stone.
No.
I say with not too much conviction,
Yeah.
out of habit.
So I'm pretty sure that this is someone who has wronged the kind, benevolent spirit of the forest, who we all love and treasure. And yes, I see. Perhaps we have made mistake. I recall perhaps calling you stupid, but that was just me being ignorant and edgy. So I bow in all directions. So I will continue to visualize. This was probably just the forest telling us, don't be bad.
You guys look at this human's face, and it looks scared.
I want to
shocked.
look in the direction. I want to look in the direction that the stone thing is looking at.
So you're putting your head like next to it and looking straight to where it is. You see 2 stones, and then you see grass on beneath, and within that there's a small tiny circle that's about this big, but there's nothing there.
So it's like, I don't understand. So what is the circle? Is it a hole?
It's a hole. It's a hole between 2 stones and grass.
Okay.
Then you guys suddenly see more statues.
Oh,
As in they
shit.
appeared, or we hadn't noticed.
We noticed them.
Yeah. There.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have all different ways of expressing themselves. One is like this.
But are they all scared, kind of?
Yeah, they are all freaking out.
But we are not scared because we are not in danger. So just relax and trust in the forest.
I'm gonna find comfort. I don't know what to deal with all of this, and I'm like, my only like reference is the book of the madman. So I'm just like finding comfort in Titus's craziness, and like, okay, embrace it. This is a nice day with no sun in the middle of the day, and everyone's not scared.
Gary, as these 2 brothers of yours who took you onto this crazy adventure, their own ideas, are having an argument and trying to not freak out, being turned into strange religious people, you suddenly hear something and you see some grass moving.
Like far away or?
Yeah, far away.
I think we should get out of here. There's something here.
Yeah, I'll visualize. I'll visualize.
So do you see any path, Titus?
No.
Forest in the wood. Please help me because I'm good. Parsley, sage, and salmon trout.
How do you do this?
Please help me out.
Say that again. Can you say that again?
Forest in the wood. Please help me. I am good. Parsley, sage, salmon trout. Please help me out.
I have a question for you. What else are you doing? Are you just saying this, or are you actually doing anything else more to this?
I am also being extremely humble and pleading, trying to look at the woods, smiling, and
Yeah. Is
nervous
the wood
bowing.
your is the wood your friend?
I am thinking it might be alive. I mean, at least I cannot recall, except for calling it stupid. I haven't really done anything towards it. So
it was an
I'm-
accident. I mean,
Yeah,
if the force says I one friend among us, it's Titus, right?
and I'm just thinking. I mean, it all comes down to my general view on life. Be nice, get nice back. So I'm being nice. And
You're looking
putting
around quite actively. You don't see a trail, but you suddenly see a tail
as in
that disappears.
the tail of something. I mean,
Tail of something that disappears.
like tail of a rabbit or tail of a
Okay.
dinosaur. I mean, tails look very differently.
Skinny, very skinny and colorful.
So,
About your leg size.
well,
Right, this way. I saw something. I got a sign.
while Titus is chanting songs with the forest or rhymes, I keep studying the book because a thought hit me, and I kind of go through the book, and then I bring it up, and then Titus, I see like Titus is like moving away to somewhere. I'm like, hey, wait, Titus, and I start running after you, holding close in the book. Yeah, I'm just following. What are you chasing?
Yep, I'm following.
What do you see?
As well.
Yep.
I'm following the sign of the forest, of course.
Yeah.
And the sign went that way. Let's follow.
You're following something, and suddenly Titus is going a little bit further ahead. You walk past around a stone area, and you gaze fastens upon two yellow, bright, burning eyes that suddenly makes your eyes crawl out of you almost. And you've never felt such an excruciating pain in your entire life as you shut your eyes and you just fall down on your on the ground. And then both Gary and Ace hear a hissing sound, and then
Okay, but we see Titus.
yeah, you see Titus.
Did I fall unconscious or?
No,
am I
you're
still very much in pain?
you're in pain.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
your
run up
eyes it's coming something out of your eyes.
I run up to Titus like, Titus, are you okay?
My eyes. Can I open them?
No. You can't.
No.
Because it hurts, or because they have been turned to mushrooms?
They hurt. They hurt.
I can't see.
But can we see something? Can we see some creature or something?
Yeah.
You can see trails.
What happened, Titus? I mean, what's going on?
Titus.
Yes, it was something. Eyes. Got my other eyes, burning eyes.
I want to check out his eyes. I want to check
They're
to see if I
bleeding.
can see anything.
They're
Oh, no.
bleeding. They're coming. It's like he's crying blood, but he doesn't really open them.
Yeah.
And when he forces my eyelids open,
there's a very hard, like on the edges here on his this eye, it is like it's the skin has gotten tough and really hard to move.
All right. Okay. I see where this is going. It's not so good. Titus, you're gonna be okay. Don't worry. We will figure this out.
Of course. Thank you, kind benevolent forest, for showing me the error of my ways. I admit my faults and will repent. Please.
Okay. I want to. Okay. So I want to just glance over the area and see if there's like. First of all, it's still in like this dark place.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, I think we need to get somewhere safe. I have looked through the book quite a bit more. I think Titus is not looking so good. I'm not sure what happened to him, but I have some facts I need to drop. I need to talk about. Okay. But we should get somewhere safe first, at least somewhat safe.
Can't we go back to the place where the birds? I mean, the bird seems like a nicer.
Gary, you hear this behind your back.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't turn around.
Not look at it.
Did-
I can I like slowly turn around, but like avert my gaze so I don't like look straight at it. I just look like
You
in
see
that direction.
claws that looks like a lizard on the stone. Whatever it is, it's standing on the stone. It's probably 4 meters behind you. That's what you see.
Like lizard as in an actual lizard?
Bigger. It's
Or-
like it's
yeah.
bigger than a dog.
All right.
This is big. This is as big as a kid's motorcycle. To give you an example. Size.
It's very specific. All right.
Or
Yes.
like a,
Okay.
or like a small pony. Small pony.
I hear the sound and I panic. Run! I just grab Titus and I just like start yeeting in the forest, just guiding him. Assuming Gary will figure it out.
And by running, you mean like stumbling, because running
exactly.
with your eyes closed is hard
exactly.
on even ground.
Yeah.
But I put my arms around you and like try to get you through the forest.
Gary, you hear your brother screaming, "Run!" What do you do?
I figure that it will be faster than me, and I pull out the axe instead.
All right, we're taking a break there. In a cliffhanger mode, Ace and Titus are running for their lives in a dark forest, and Gary is picking up his newfound axe, and he's going to battle with something he doesn't know what it is.
Without looking at it.
Without looking at it. To be continued.
Well, it's only as big as a kid's motorcycle, so I mean...
Exactly. How dangerous can it be? How big can it be?